Let's go! What's up, chat? How are we doing today? I find as I enter the last less than 10 pages or so, unlike a marathon runner, my speed and resilience and dedication only is going up. I'm getting more powerful every day. Let's go manga dropping next week. I don't know if it will be next week. Even when the drawing is done, I haven't been giving the pages to Solus as I complete them like I was saying I should. I should do that. Actually, work on some of the earlier pages tonight and start dropping him pages so he can start making the videos, but I think I'm gonna wait for him to upload like the first 1 or 2 videos before I dump the entire manga on Patreon, so it won't get dubbed. Someone else won't, so another dubber won't dub it before him, I think is what I'm gonna do. That's good to hear because you have only just started. That's right. Much like when a manga is cancelled in Jump, my long road to my goal or whatever has only just started, and in fact, this is only the beginning. It will say at the bottom of the page as it gets fucking cancelled. You know, like the end of Gundam F91. This is only the beginning. Can't you see I'm blazing? Still my heart is blazing. Suzuku, actually it's not Suzuku. For those of you who know basic amount of Japanese, the phrase they often say is like, "Oretachi no tadakai wa korekara da." It's like, our real battle has only just begun. And then below that, the editor will post something like, "Please look forward to the next series from BaalBud Sensei." And then you'll know that it's been fucking cancelled. Honestly, Shaman King got cancelled when I was going to high school and still attempting to be a professional mangaka at the time, and I've never really recovered from the trauma of that. I was just like, holy shit, I can't believe fucking Jump cancels like one of their most popular manga series because it starts to go low in the rankings, even though it's almost like it was like basically one volume away from completion, and they fucking canceled it. And then afterwards, we come back to it, and like they're making like multiple anime series for it, and letting it finish in the weekly manga, the weekly Jump magazine, and then giving it sequels and shit. Basically, they're being like, we did a big boo-boo, Mr. Manga Author. I forgot what his name was, Takei, whatever. Please forgive us. All Jump artists are ultimately disposable, I guess. They're disposable until the Jump editors come back to the situation later and realize that they weren't disposable at all. And it was actually, they actually fucked something up that they had that was really good. And they're like, oh shit, what have we done? We need to go back to our well and like revive this IP and stuff. People don't see long term, just the short term. I mean, it's in some way it's what makes Jump good, because they allow for new blood to be constantly coming in. If you look at other magazines, they really need to just fucking kick some of the older authors out, like Jump and Magazine and stuff like that. Need to kick the older authors out. Takashi Rumiko has been basically untouchable in Sunday for my entire life, and she gets free reign. Same for a few other authors. Hajime no Ippo still hasn't ended. I was annoyed when Jump canceled the Red Hood manga. I found it a breath of fresh air. Yeah. Too bad. You can't really assume anything is going to be around in Jump. Although there was basically one manga that couldn't be canceled, which was Kochikame. Kochira Kameyama Koen Mae Hashutsujo, which was basically a fucking sitcom, and it going on forever was also part of its appeal. But that has ended now, so it's basically only One Piece at this point. But Jump is selling like half of what it sold at its peak, so they can't just be like, we can cancel whatever the fuck we want at this point in their life. There's so much cancel culture in manga magazines, so because you only have a limited number of pages on the magazine, they have to be somewhat aggressive in which manga they keep and which ones they don't. In contrast, a lot of manga has moved to online now, which has much more spacious storefront. There's still only a number of locations you can click on the front page, and you're not going to be discovered easily if you're not very popular. But it still doesn't cost the publishers anything to keep on holding on to a manga on like Jump Plus, etc. So if it develops a fan base over time and people buy the books when they come out, then it's still a win for Jump. So I think they're more linear for the online shit. Slowly dying. I mean, the peak of Jump was in the 90s when it's the list of manga going was like Slam Dunk, Fist of the North Star, Dragon Ball. Basically, all the most like popular fucking manga. I think we can probably find an image of it. Okay, this is the peak jump volume right here. 1995. It has Dragon Ball Slam Dunk, Dai's Great Adventure. I can't tell. Jungle King Tachan, Captain Tsubasa. This is Demon Sensei Nube. What is this? Rokudenashi Blues. Lucky Man. What is this? I can't tell. But yeah, this is Kochikame right here. Ninku, if anybody remembers Ninku. A Golden Time. It was pre-internet. Nobody had anything else to do besides read Jump. Now we have other things to do, like go online and browse unlimited amounts of porn to destroy our minds. It wasn't like the 90s when we were all fucking joining the basketball club so girls would like us like Sakuragi. Lucky Man was dog shit? Wrong. Lucky Man is actually very good. I have all volumes of Lucky Man. Lucky Man also the strongest jump hero, or actually strongest superhero of all time. You wouldn't have your Death Notes or Bakuman and stuff without Lucky Man, by the way. It was theorized that the Lucky Man author was actually the writer for Death Note for a while, but at this point it's basically been confirmed. Dun 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 dun. Hi, Ball. I'm taking a shit at work. Make sure you take as long a shit as possible to give yourself hemorrhoids like me. It's worth it. Daddy and New Mommy. New Mommy number like 5 or 6 probably. There's always more new mommies when your dad is fucking around. People always fuck up pacing in manga. True. Just ask all the people who actually read One Piece every week, waiting for the great big reveals, waiting for them to leave Fishman Island or whatever. Promise that Chadford doesn't tragically die for MC character development. So this is going to be a rom-com, so we're not going to actually have many heavy themes. The heaviest theme is going to be childhood friend Chan not getting cock for a while.
All you need to know, always one or two things are of you. I'm alone, but I'm not alone. You know that, right? Reason way, now and then. I can't live without that precious one. On season follow, so that's me. Springtime, see the road. I will follow you wherever you go.
So subtle. Japanese readers will legitimately not understand what's going on. It's the internet. You have to beat people over the head with your subtle themes, or else they won't understand. I'm sure eventually there will be some Reddit thread being like, guys, I fucking realized the hidden meaning behind BaalBuddy's comics characters' names. How's the manga? It's coming along. It's actually almost done. For real this time. This time I'm not lying. Jesus Christ, we got 152 viewers coming in, guys. Don't be cringe. Don't be cringe, guys. You have to not be cringe for the next 2 hours. Or more like 3 minutes, which is how quick it takes for a raid viewers to leave. In general, you have about like 30 seconds before everybody that's forced to come to your stream in a raid to be like, oh my god, fuck these guys, I'm leaving. Are you the BaalBud? Yes, I am, in fact. Raids never work. I have a lot of followers, actually, on Twitch. I just don't think people regularly stay. I try to tell my followers not to do that oh my god raid stuff. I mean, I'm actually talking to the chat in this stream. Hey Deblo, thanks for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate the support. Fuck you, I will be cringe. Why do you think we have various words that start with F censored in this stream? You know what I'm talking about, guys. The F words. No, not that F word. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say the F word. Feet. Futa. Why is there a timer? We're speedrunning. Speedrunning drawing. It's sort of I'm doing it to track to make sure I'm drawing at least like 6 or 7 hours a day. I started doing it to make sure I could be drawing faster to track how my draw speed was, but it's kind of hard to improve quality and draw faster at the same time. I don't think I'm really at the point where I can realistically actually be like improving speed yet. So I'm just using it to make sure I'm forcing myself to draw at least like a full workday's amount of art. Because realistically, if I want to go pro, I actually have to be drawing like, you know, at least 10 hours a day, probably. Hey, Hystrixia, if you have black painted nails, is the back of the nail going to be white? I don't understand whether the color is dark enough that you'll be able to see it on the other side of the nail. This is like an actual question for our goth mod right here. So this nail on this finger, it's like from the opposite side, so I can't tell. I don't know if I should color it in or not. It might be easier if I just color it in just to, for visual reasons. You also take time to think about jokes, so I think you're smart. Yes. I do, and also, I take a lot of things that aren't particularly funny that are given to me as Patreon requests and try to make them funny and entertaining. This is extremely difficult. People are like, hey, have you thought of doing a comic about elves not having sex? And I'm like, holy shit. People have seen something that is popular that I've posted a million times and are like, maybe I want to see more of that. Now I have to think about more of that stuff. It will be a grayish color unless you paint the underside a different color. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna make it black. Virginia Kissless. People want to see more of the same thing, but I'm not gonna give it to them. Show me an awful offspring of an elf and dwarf. I yearn to be. Hey, Deblow, thanks for the gifted tier 1 sub. I appreciate the support. See, the raid is in fact working, despite what we might think. I will say this, without spoiling anything. This is a unified universe. So it takes place in the same zone as Virginia, and Charles, not Charles, what was his fucking name? Dickens. Mr. Paladin Dickens. The Raid was a pretty good movie. It was. We should have more movies that take place in like one same apartment complex and shit. It will allow Hollywood to lower its budget, and it also provides with like a good setting. Like Dread. Dread was pretty good, honestly, considering how little I was expecting from it. These are two types of movies that are basically the same thing that I enjoy, but we don't get much of. Movies that all take place in the same day, like Training Day, like one-day movies. And movies that all take place in the same setting, like a limited set space or a limited setting, like Dread or The Raid. Hey Marinovich, I appreciate the support. Thanks for the gifted tier 1 sub. It's working, guys. We have a fucking hype train. Exclusive emotes. Mr. Bezos is like, give me your money now! Please, I need more money! Reminder that every dollar that you give to a streamer is helping Mr. Bezos buy his new yacht. Feels good, man, that we can help support such a needy individual. Also, like, unlike many other streamers, you'll never have to worry about me being cancelled because I was dating a underage girl or something. I can guarantee that. I'm making that promise right now. I will never, ever talk to anybody online. Right, a diabetic dwarf. I don't think diabetes is funny, is it, guys? We almost had to ban someone from our Discord server because she was behaving like she was underage, but it turned out she just had mental illness, so it was okay. Common mistake. Diabetes is not a mental illness, Jesus. Yeah. It's more like a, just like standard equipment if you're living in America. Is the dialysis you have to get when you're diabetic the same as the dialysis you have to get if like one of your kidneys just isn't functioning properly? Or like if you drank too much alcohol? I don't understand these things. I follow like a Japanese lolcow streamer, and besides being like a complete failure of a human being and also a gambling addict and stuff like that, he also has to do dialysis because he was he was given inherently a bad kidney genetically, and in Japan you can only get kidney transplants from your own family. So he asked his family to give him like a kidney transplant, and they were like, no. Which kind of gives you an idea of what how shitty family he has. That's renal failure. Diabetes requires insulin injections. Hey Jude, thanks for the Prime sub. I appreciate the support. Let's just make sure I'm not missing anyone. Draw faster, streamer. I will. I'm trying to. Yeah, okay, I think we're good. I used to have sound alerts up, but I don't know. I haven't been keeping track of maintaining the various systems I installed when I first started Twitch streaming. So now I just, I hope that I don't miss anything, basically. Basically, none of the alerts are working at any point. Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Make a sad song and make it better. Alright, that's enough Guilty Gear. Remember the sin and make it better. Guys, are the Beatles the best band of all time? Because I don't think so. But I'm open to suggestions if you think otherwise. No. Nah. Is that a peak boomer take? I think we can go further peak boomer by being like, actually it's the Eagles that are the best band of all time. Nickelback? Of course. Of course Nickelback is the best band of all time. The band that like 90% of the people say they fucking hate them. Created the worst propaganda though? Don't worry. The boomers are gonna die soon, and then we won't have to hear the fucking boomer takes where they claim that whatever they liked when they were 14 is the best thing of all time. I've read actual opinion articles on magazines and stuff where boomers fucking make the legitimate argument that culture of the world peaked in 1960 or whatever. I'm like, wow, shocking that you would think that, Mr. Boomer-san. I can't believe that you think that everything was great when you were 14. How did you reach that conclusion? They're like the Imagine Dragons of the 2000s. I fucking love Imagine Dragons, guys. PogChamp, PogChamp, PogChamp. Bruce Springsteen. Baby, I was born to earn. That's right, The Boss, guys. I do like Springsteen significantly more than I like the Beatles. Not gonna lie. The Boss is based. Don't remind me of Imagine Dragons. Wait, aren't they still, like, successful and producing new stuff? You're talking about them as if they're gone, but I believe Imagine Dragons has never left. I hope not. I think they are. I think I hear them every once in a while when I'm playing the radio while I'm door dashing and stuff. I try to avoid them at all costs. Don't remind me that they exist. Is Tay-Tay the greatest artist of all time? I had some music discussion on the Discord server a while back, like a few days ago, and I was like, let me actually check the top 50 rankings of US right now on Spotify, and it was just like the entire Taylor Swift album. She's too powerful, guys. We must all kneel to our queen. All their songs sound the same. I had a roommate in college that only played Coldplay on speakers, and I vowed to never have a roommate again. I was indifferent about Coldplay day one going into college, and by the time I left my freshman year, I fucking hated them so much. I listened to Yellow like 8 billion times. Unlike Coldplay, N64 music doesn't make you sick of it listening to it many times. Christ, I'm so sorry, yeah. Now that is a band where all their songs actually sound the same. Like, they legitimately... I can't tell the difference. You can vow to not have a roommate. I mean, if mommy is letting you stay at her house, then you don't need to get a roommate. If I do ever have to get a roommate, I'm gonna invest in noise-canceling headphones. Reminds me of a time when I went to a summer program and all they played was Modest Mouse. It was terrible. What is this, like an indie hipster summer program? Does Modest Mouse even have any songs besides 9 in the Afternoon? It's very you, Hystrixia, that you're like, the music that traumatized me because it was playing too much is like a minor indie band. Float On. I think that's 2. I mean, pretty much every band only has like 1 or 2 songs. If you have like 3 popular songs, you're like a fucking legend, and if you have like 10 popular songs, you're a fucking god. Hashtag Bruce Springsteen, hashtag the boss. It was a summer art program. That explains a lot. Here's a pro tip for you guys. If you're a normal or even like mentally stable, somewhat mentally stable human being, there's very little to gain from art communities. You get better at art by just drawing on your own, and other artists in general are dicks. I'm living proof of this. Artists are all egoists, and unlike sports, there's no way to properly establish who's a better artist, so they're constantly fighting with each other and think their shit is better than each other. Artists will invent any excuse to not draw, yes. Artists also don't want to actually draw. They'll be like, sorry guys, I have mental health issues right now. I'm just not going to draw for the next 6 months. Also, I'm going to delete every single image on my Twitter account. Only part I benefited from was the life and still drawing classes. Yeah, basically the only reason you might want to go to some sort of art community is to get access to models, because models are expensive, of course, if you're drawing on your own. Like, you can't pay like the whatever you have to pay a model in the year 2024 to have someone sit there naked while you draw them or whatever. So splitting the bill among 40 other people is a good way to make it slightly more affordable. That's about it. Also, if you're like me, it's the only time in your life you'll ever see vagina besides when you come out of your mother, so you may as well enjoy the experience while it's there for you. Otherwise, I hated everyone else there and looked at Goya Bosch art book. Here's a hot take for the stream. Goya kind of overrated. Classy artist girlfriend is required. There are no art girlfriends that are classy. They're just all mental illness. Hold on, I'm gonna get banned if I post the naked people. Oh, Witch's Sabbath. Of course you would be like, I'm following Goya. I like his stuff in later years. Man, The Witch's Sabbath is the most popular of his stuff. People really like their witchcraft. But yeah, Saturn eating his children is definitely number one. Women like monsters, LMAO. They really do. Women don't get fucked by horrible monstrous beings challenge. Difficulty impossible, as usual. Because he had no idea how to draw a woman. I always like it when there's manga authors that are literally incapable of drawing like different genders. Like, for example, the Toriko artist comes to mind. I admire the artist for Toriko, Shimabukuro Koji, I believe is his name, so much that I have like a shit ton of saved images from the internet that I can study them when I'm drawing my own manga, because I think he's really good at balancing like the blacks and the whites and stuff. However, he literally can't draw women. He actually is incapable of drawing women. It's pretty funny. Especially because he tries to draw women, and he just like straight up fails. The women look like men with boobs. And it's not like he's gay or anything, considering he got caught by the police for buying prostitution with a high school girl, which is why his previous series before Toriko got cancelled by Jump, he got caught by the police. So he definitely likes women, but he's incapable of drawing them. That isn't even Saturn, it's just a painting of a big dude eating a smaller dude. It would have been a better painting if it was titled Big Dude Eating a Smaller Dude. Am I right, fellow art chads? Women are never the focus of a J.C. Leidendecker piece. I can't even remember what his stuff looks like. J.C. Oh, yes. He's the guy who draws well-dressed men looking at each other with strong homosexual tension. Nothing gay going on here, guys. Just a few men. You can feel the energy here where the guy's like, "Be gone, woman." The glance that he's giving. I'm using Opera instead of Google Chrome now. This is how I look at every woman when they intrude on my male space, when I'm trying to go golf with the boys at the club, and this bitch shows up with her tennis racket, and the guy's like, Jesus fucking Christ. I can't believe she actually followed me to the boys club. What has become of society now that we're letting women into our men's exclusive spaces? Shapes are so crunchy though. All of this, the line work behind the figures looks really nice as well. It's a very, a style that seems very much applicable today. I'll make sure to put it into my AI generator when I generate my next hentai porn. Literally influenced Norman Rockwell, yeah. You remove the latent homosexual tension and make it like 50s housewifey, and then you get Norman Rockwell, I guess. Who did more fucked up landscapes, Geiger or Beksinski? I can't pronounce his name. Beskinski? Is it Polish? I can never pronounce the Polish names. I don't know. I don't read. I haven't looked at much Bekinski art. I haven't actually looked deep into a lot of artists since when I was forced to take art history. Geiger's is just plain horrific? Are you sure about that, guys? Because his shit looks like this. I'm not seeing much hopeful stuff in this image right here. Super hopeful right here, guys. Beksinski. Can we just force all Polish people to have normal American names like Smith? He was a Polish architect with PTSD after World War II, so the art checks out. Yeah, seems about right. Geiger is meh. Geiger gets a lot of traction from the Alien movies still going, to be honest. Also, his stuff is more sexual, which always gives you a lot of traction. As soon as someone sees mildly sexual shapes in your art, they're like, "Oh, is that an opening that kind of looks like an alien vagina? I'm gonna come!" Oh! You know? The internet has melded well with that relationship right there, so... I wanna fuck the xenomorph! AI really seems to emulate his style well. Yeah, early AI looked exactly like some of his shit. Now AI only looks like your favorite anime doujin author, except with like proper colors, because people are only interested in producing cute girls getting fucked by big black cocks at this point. Shockingly, AI has very good relationship with artists that were prone to draw figures with like multiple arms and six fingers. Shockingly, who would have thought? I remember Geiger talking about how seeing a big mummy with his sister when he was 8 ended up influencing his art. Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry. I literally can't tell in the case of Geiger that it's whether it's a misspelling and she meant mommy or whether she meant mummy, because it could be either. In the case of Geiger, you know, who the fuck knows? Okay, these lines actually have to go past the arm, I think. Might regret this, but I think this is better. Yeah, it's probably a little bit better. It was a bog mummy he saw with One-san. One-chan! Oh, One-chan, please don't stand next to the mummy. When I see that shriveled up human body next to my older sister, I'm gonna become a great artist! Ah! Typical Geiger moment right there. The Chad's arm seems way too long on the first panel. It's not. It's the correct length. He's fucking huge. Here's a pro tip. Arms can be variable length. That's why when they talk about like NBA players and stuff, they talk about wingspan, because arm length, it can be longer. You can be like a fucking knuckle dragger and have extremely long arms. This is a thing. Also, when you're drawing manga, you don't want to worry too much about having all anatomy correct. In some cases, having incorrect anatomy is correct. Anatomy should not be your number one priority. You should be worrying about energy and stuff. You worry about anatomy when you're doing like studies. One way when I think about drawing arms is the arm should end where like the first part of the arm should end where the rib cage ends. So if you rotate his arm downward, it's right around where his rib cage is, and then the second part of the arm should go down past the pocket. So if you eyeball it, it goes to here and then here. If you have shorter arms, it ends like around where the pockets are, but if you have longer arms, they can go all the way down to the knees. That's how much variability you have in arm length. Like if you look at NBA players, their arms will actually stretch down past their fucking knees, because they're of course like fucking freaks of nature that have been genetically engineered to play basketball, so. A lesson well earned by Tetsuo Hara. Like in Fist of the North Star when Rao is 8 times the size of other characters and shit. Nobody gives a fuck. No one's like, actually, Mr. Artist, I have noticed that some of the size of your characters change depending on the panel. It's just like, Jesus Christ, nobody fucking cares. No one notices that shit. Even if they notice it, it's not important. If people are looking at your images for more than, I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds, in which is the amount of time it takes to read the manga, then that means it's not working as a manga. Manga are supposed to be read, not looked at. Your eyes shouldn't stop with manga. They should keep on going continuously. So in many cases, if people are just like staring at your art for too long, it means it's not being readable. It's being like treated like a artwork, which is not what you want. Excuse you? Oh yeah, I forgot I'm not supposed to sneeze and shit. I was just, doing shit reflexively. Why did Miura draw so much detail? Just because Miura is drawing 8 Gorillion Knights in full armor with 10,000 hours of hatching on each panel doesn't mean you can't read every single one of his pages quickly. I flip through Miura's shit like there's no tomorrow, and then I come back to the panels that I like, and then I'm like, damn, that looks good. But you should still read shit quickly. You should read at the pace at which you read the dialogue. Just feels like wasted effort. I mean, we're still talking about him though, aren't we? If you want to read manga without details, just read like Bleach, and then you can get the full white background experience. The heart. It's not wasted if he was satisfied by the end of it. Everything is wasted if we think about how we're just all gonna fucking die. And eventually the earth will be swallowed by the sun. At the end of the day, all we can do is live our life so that when we finally go, we can go without regrets. I'm drawing this manga right now because if I die without doing some kind of long-form manga series in my life, no matter what the format is, I'm gonna fucking regret it. I'm not making any money right now for this, so... Didn't he literally overwork himself? As if that's not uncommon among manga artists. The average manga artist dies before 60. Every once in a while you have yokais. Like the Kitaro author. I'm blanking on his name right now. Mizuno Shigeru. But besides that, in general, you're just getting people that just fucking expire. Oda aware, yeah. At least he's taking breaks. Do you ever think about your prime years being over and how many years of non-senile time you have left? Sort of. If I'm gonna die at 76, then I have like about 30 years left. But I don't think I'm gonna die early, honestly. I think I'm gonna make it at least to 80, just based on my genetics. Powerful Japanese genes. I mean, my mother's still going. And her older sister, who is 10 years older than her, still hasn't died. Despite having, like, every single various conditions that will fucking kill her at birth. I don't know, like, if she eats any kind of oil like butter or something, she just fucking dies. She has nitroglycerin in her home like her entire life because like anything can cause her heart to stop. But she's still alive, so I don't know, man. Japanese genes, like, they don't fuck around, honestly. She's like 86 or 87, yeah, basically. My grandma was 92 when she passed. Yeah, a lot of people are gonna make it to 90 in general. Unless they're like male mangaka and then they just fucking die, but yeah. The difference between dying at 60 and dying at 90 is pretty dramatic if you think about it. You're basically doubling your boomer period of your life. Honestly, I don't really have any desire to live longer than 90, but I might. Who the fuck knows? My grandfather on my father's side, I think, lived close to 90. I think he got into his mid-80s as well, so... You can't assume that you're gonna live for a really long time, but you also can't assume that you're gonna die as well, unless you, like, are making sure you smoke and drink a lot. Then you can die young, but... You don't really know how long you've got. That's not even taking into account potential medical tech we could have a few decades from now. I bet all the billionaires right now are like, if I can just make another 30 years and keep on investing in various medical programs, they'll find a way to make me immortal. This time it will work, I'm sure. Just need to freeze myself. I have so much money, surely I can't die. If humanity ever is truly fucked, it's when we discover technology to make people immortal. Imagine if, like, the boomers who have all this money right now could basically stick around forever. It would truly be the end of humanity. I knew one woman who lived to 95 and she had a Manhattan every day. Yeah, who gives a fuck? Just drink. Drink yourself to death. If your liver is powerful enough, you can handle it. Died only because she got throat cancer. I mean, the Manhattans probably contributed to it. The wine industry was trying to psyop us into making us believe that drinking was actually good for us, but it's not. It's not good. It gives you fucking cancer. My grandpa lived to 82 and he drank every single day. Yeah, typical boomer move, to be honest. Or I guess it wouldn't even be boomers, but before a certain generation, people were just like, oh, are we having a conversation? Let me make sure I light my fucking cigarette and have a glass of whiskey in my other hand at all times. It was literally impossible to have any kind of interaction, human or otherwise, without making sure you were, like, liquored up and also smoking, so it's kind of shocking that some people lived as long as they did. Alright, enough N64 music. Let's be honest, N64, not a great console. For real. It had like 6 really good games and like 30 mediocre games, which compared to the PlayStation, which had like 20 great games and like 500 mediocre games and like 10,000 shit games. It was a pretty fucking shitty console. it was okay. The good games are what made it nice. See, here's the thing. When you were a kid in the 90s, you wanted to have a lot of video games. It's not like me as an adult when I don't have time to be gaming. You had more time as a kid. So the lack of quality games was more of a problem than you might think. I still miss my copy of Harvest Moon 64. Don't they have that shit on Nintendo Switch, or do they not? Nintendo is so fucking incompetent. I guess they might not have ported everything at this point. Maybe they're just waiting to resell it to you at like $50 a piece or something. Kids aren't that discerning. I mean, I was much more willing to play the shitty games back in the day, but when my daddy got me a PS1, I was like, actually, this is way better than the 64. Because I actually have new games to play. Holy fuck. I don't have to play like fucking Buck Bumble. I remember being super excited for Buck Bumble because I was like, holy shit, it's a new game that I can borrow from the Blockbuster. And then I was like, this is kind of mid. Does this console not have any games besides Ocarina of Time? And yeah, basically it doesn't have any games besides Ocarina of Time. That's the truth. GoldenEye 64 had so much mileage. When I played GoldenEye, I just fucking just used it as a murder simulator. There was one stage on GoldenEye where you were supposed to go to a location in a blizzard, and there was no like timer or anything, so you could just sit in a location and enemies would just endlessly spawn and come at you over a hill. And I just fucking took out the sniper rifle and just endlessly shot them for hours because I just enjoyed murder. Hashtag just boy things. I would say just boy things, but I'm pretty sure Hystrixia was also spending her time killing her Sims by taking away the ladder when they're in the swimming pool and stuff, so it isn't just boy things. Echo the Dolphin, Sonic 2, and Power Rangers. Of course you would list Echo the Dolphin because it goes into like weird alien shit in the second half. Echo the Dolphin, also like a nice deep sea horror game. Seems like something that Hystrixia enjoys. I wasn't allowed to play SNES era shit because my mother was against video games, so it took me a while to convince my parents that I was allowed to play games. So I missed the entire generation. Hold on, I have to fart. Ah, there we go. This is as like a sneezing, farting stream. All types of bodily functions coming out of me. Eight out of 10. I should start charging for these things. If I was a female streamer, I would most definitely be like, guys, I'm gonna hold my fart in until you donate. And people would be like, whoa, Baru One-chan, please brap on stream. Here's $5. Robust but not overly loud. I'm trying here, okay? Basically, wheat tends to make me fart, so I can summon my flatulence if I eat bread and shit. That's my secret. That's my secret, I'm always farting. If I eat bread. It took me a while to figure that out. You'd get rich real fast. I do wonder if female Twitch streamers are even making that much money at this point, considering how they how oversaturated the market is. Like, I mean, holy shit. People are trying to get those IRL stream bucks so hard. Like, how do you even differentiate yourself? There's like 10,000 people streaming IRL just chatting stuff right now, I'm sure, so... The real money is the OnlyFans conversion. There's also a million women on OnlyFans too. The digital prostitution market is also pretty oversaturated at this point. For every woman who's making like $1 million on OnlyFans and making all the chuds see that a woman is selling her body for money, there's also like 10,000 women who are trying to get people to pay attention to them by having their bots be like pussy in bio, you know? Just become a porn star, haha, easy, true. Oh. If I wasn't having some sort of issues avoiding women right now, nothing will enforce that situation more than becoming a porn star. I can say that for sure. Although, let's be honest, if you want to make a living as a porn star and you're a guy, you basically have to do gay porn. Most guys who are making it as male porn stars, they almost all do some amount of gay porn. That's just how the business works. Nice. Yeah. Despite how often I talk about gay porn, I'm not actually gay, so I don't think I'd get my dick hard, no matter how hot the guy is. What's the name of the person? The fraughter? Whose job... No, frauding is... I think it is fraughter. What's the name of the job of the guy who has to keep the male porn stars hard while they're waiting for their scene to start? Fluffer, that's right. Fraughter is like the guy who jacks off on the subway by like rubbing his dick against women and stuff. Similar energy, but not the same profession. I'm not gay describes a man as hot. The rational part of my brain is like, that man would be hot if I was gay. He has hot man energy, but my penis is like, nah, you're not gay. So, there you go. I've looked at enough gay porn to know that I'm not gay. I have to have gay porn to study the male anatomy, so if I was gay by now, I think my dick would notice. Women like stuff more like ASMR smut writing. Men are much more visual creatures. The massive DL site ASMR Dommy Mommy section disagrees with you. There's a ton of guys who are like, whoa, I need a woman to whisper in my ear about how my penis is weak, what, or etc. etc. I don't know what the fuck they actually say in Dommy Mommy ASMR, but whatever. Sissification ASMR. It's fucking huge. I can't listen to ASMR without cringing. Guess what? You're in an ASMR stream now.
ASMR is literally the easiest content to produce. You just need to hold the mic real close and then whisper. And then people fucking lose their minds.
Oh no. Everyone's like, oh! My brain's tingling! Oh! I don't know. I understand why ASMR is a thing, but it doesn't really drive me crazy like that. Can you lick the mic instead? No. My mic has like some sound muffling technology. It has like some sort of cloth on top of it, so it leaves stuff on my tongue if I try and lick it. My advice, consider a career in voice acting. Yeah, I'm sure the ASMR market isn't oversaturated. Talk about shit that you can do easily. I wanted to bait you into tasting dirt and dust. Yes, the delicious taste of dirt. I hate ASMR, I hate ASMR, I hate ASMR. It's pretty interesting that we've discovered this shit in the past, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. Because theoretically it probably always existed people who were cooming to other people making whispering noises in the mic. Because it's some sort of like weird ass physiological response, right? But it wasn't until now, into like year 10 of the internet, in which people were like, this is a thing that we're gonna like pursue as a job. I'm just gonna whisper into a mic for a living. Where are the fake blowjob sounds in macaroni to imply pussy play? Drip, 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 drip. The only ASMR I like to see is that soap cutting stuff. Is that even ASMR? Isn't that like a lot of it is visual though? That's like visual ASMR. I don't coom to ASMR, I just find it soothing. 80% of the stream is like, please don't do it, and then there's like one guy who's like, I like ASMR. It just shows you that you don't need to please everyone, you just need to please the small percentage of people who are going to give you money. Sounds are gross. How about this? Women are gross. Yeah, I went ahead and said it. Horrifying creatures. Weak-ass dick-sucking sounds, BB. Unfortunately, I'm not a professional Japanese eroge voice actor, so... Sounds like you're eating spaghetti. I do like spaghetti very much. Spaghetti is one of my comfort foods. Spaghetti and hamburgers. Don't give me sushi or any of that raw fish shit. I'm an American. I like my spaghetti. Just like my mama used to make. Ever saw a woman's bathroom that's some fucked up shit? I thought women's bathroom were like extremely clean or something. Is that not the case? Maybe I'm thinking of Japanese bathrooms instead of women's bathrooms. It's terrifying. I thought women's bathrooms exist entirely so women can socialize with each other and then like bully each other if necessary. I thought they were like a private space for women to just be like generally mean to each other or something. All I know is that women piss and shit too slowly, so whenever there's like the bathroom break at the concert, there's a massive line while men get their pissing done quickly. Once again proving that men are superior until we die at like 60 years old. Didn't Hiss say there was a satanic drawing of period blood? That sounds more like the furry convention. But maybe it's also a female bathroom as well. Public ones are terrifying. I thought women kept their bathrooms relatively clean. Is that not the case? Okay, I've heard enough. Never talking to a woman again. You're talking to me right now, and I'm a cute anime girl. Everyone give me donations. Trust me. I'm most definitely a cute anime girl. Just use menstruation cups, haha. That shit is uncomfortable. Have you ever considered just not menstruating? Easy. I've solved your problem now. Just like don't bleed out of your vagina all the time. How about that? I mean, I guess that is why women are on birth control and shit, even if they're like not sexually active. Because they don't want to have to deal with that stuff nowadays. I will say this. Every woman who complains about bleeding out of their crotch like it's some sort of special female privilege, it's not. I bleed out of my crotch every single fucking day, and it doesn't bother me. Sometimes I stick tissue paper between my ass cheeks so that I don't bleed all over the carpet and stuff. You're not special. Everyone can have their period as long as they have hemorrhoid problems. You need pads. It's not that big a deal. The hemorrhoid goes back into the body after a while. Then it stops bleeding. What are ass chicks? Should I say ass cheeks? Look, guys, I'm trying to speak while drawing here. Let me get some water so I don't mispronounce. Here, this is the sound that your JAVs are making. To indicate how dripping wet the pussy is. This is why they always have these paper cups full of lube, where the guy has the male porn actor has his hand in this paper cup full of lube all the time. And there's someone whose job it is to just hold the paper cup of lube up to the guy's fingers, and then the male porn star synchronizes his finger movement in the cup of lube with his thrusting, so it makes it sound like the pussy is extremely wet. It's the lube cup, yeah, basically. This is Japanese technology, unmatched in the world. They figured it out. If you see any kind of images of Japanese JAV shooting scenes, the shit is ridiculous because the guy is like twisting his back into a pretzel so that he doesn't show up on camera, and then also one of his arms is in the lube cup, and then there's like a camera guy in between the guy's legs filming upward, and then there's the other guy holding the boom mic and another guy holding the lube cup, there's like 4 people around the guy. It's amazing that this person can maintain his boner in this situation, but that's why they're professionals. I would never be able to do it. The 2 black porn stars in Japan. Even if it's not the black porn stars, there's still only like 5 guys. I watch a lot of Chikan stuff, train molester stuff, and a lot of times they blur all the people's faces except for the woman, and yet I still recognize the same fucking guy. It's like, oh, it's him again. Hey, what's up, dude? I hope you're doing okay. There are no white porn stars in Japan. There really aren't. I don't know what's going on about that. Oh wait, I forgot to color her other leg. I found your house on Google Maps, BB. Please don't. I can't tell if people are actually like being serious when you post messages like that, because I've like semi-doxed myself multiple times. And I'm still living in my mother's house, and she's very much not cool with me exposing myself on the internet, so I have to actually be really careful about that shit. White guys aren't exciting enough. There's not much of a bleached fetish, at least in terms of real life porn stars. I don't know how much of a black fetish there is either. I feel like they're overrepresented. You had one job? Actually, my one job is drawing stuff. It's not streaming. So when you guys are like, I found your house and stuff, you're basically asking me to disappear from the internet. Never go to Brazil? Yeah. I'm not gonna go to any place that's hot. That's not happening. Never go to Brazil? Yeah. I think that's good advice. You really shouldn't go to Brazil in general. Don't go to Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii. One of my cousins had his wedding in Hawaii, I think. I forgot which island. Even though there were lots of cute Japanese girls there. When we were in Hawaii, I was chilling on the beach and my mother was like, hey, look, that woman is checking you out. And I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about, Mom? But this is the difference between person who is capable of nonverbal communication and person who is completely autistic and doesn't even understand the concept of nonverbal communication. This is why my mother can successfully have sex and give birth to me, whereas I cannot. I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about, you crazy woman? Nobody's gonna look at me on the beach and like, I fuck me. That's not something that happens, but apparently it is. Your mom sounds awesome. Is she single? Yes. And she enjoys being single. She's one of those like hyper independent people. The face when Baal will never have sex and give birth. I no longer feel guilty about it when I read that autism is inherited, so I'm gonna end the this cursed bloodline with my generation. If I have a kid and they're like even slightly autistic, I won't be able to handle that shit. I probably won't even be able to handle a kid that is a normal functioning human being, so it's best if I don't reproduce in general. You should extend it, at least yours will have the ability to draw. It doesn't work like that. Neither of my parents are artists or anything. I'm not particularly talented at art. I just haven't given up long enough that I got good. Do autists get along with each other? Sometimes. Yeah, autists, especially the Asperger type of autists, only want to talk about whatever thing that they like trains or Legos or whatever. And I would say by default they don't get along with each other. And then sometimes they can find ways to get along with each other, but generally they don't. Lego Bros. I mean, you can understand why the autists like their Legos though, right? They're so controlled and safe, and they allow for creativity in a controlled and safe environment. I usually find autistic people very annoying, trust me. Autistic people are... The scale goes from somewhat annoying to like just completely non-functional. It can get so bad. Like truly high-level autism means like you can't even have conversations with people. Like non-functioning level autistic people are less functional in society than like people with Down syndrome, basically. People with Down syndrome can like hold jobs, but like if you're truly giga autistic, you won't even be able to hold a job, so... My mother took me to a group meetup of like other people with Asperger's, and I was like, nope, these people are way too Aspergery for me. This isn't gonna help me. It's only gonna make it worse. It was like the guy there was doing exactly what you would expect. Like, while the person holding the meeting was trying to introduce people, he kept on trying to talk about his hobby and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is exactly what they say when they talk about Asperger disorder. He only wants to talk about whatever the fuck he wants to talk about. Were you diagnosed with Asperger's? Yes. I'm extremely high-functioning Asperger's. My mother is a problem solver, so she keeps on trying to fix people. She is the I can fix him meme. So she was trying to fix me, but she failed. Get fucked, Mom. Too autistic for you. They put me in a class with them. It was torture. I was the only female in that class. I'm sure you became very knowledgeable about specific types of trains and stuff like that. Hystrixia, did you know that the L6304 train only runs in Soviet parts of Europe from the years 1960 through 1968? It is my second favorite train type besides the L6805B. Check out my Sonic OC. Sonic OCs, I think, aren't limited just to autistic people, actually. I think it's just cringe in general. Oh, by the way, guys, I found my Sonic OC. People asked me to do the check your Sonic the Hedgehog by typing in your name, and then you type in the Hedgehog after it. So if we Google Baal the Hedgehog, Baal the Hedgehog, Sonic Fanon Wiki. Baal the Hedgehog is a ninja-like hedgehog and a member of the Void Masters. Separate page. He uses advanced techniques in battle and is referred to as Heartless Assassin. He hopes to someday find a ninja as strong as himself, just for the fight. Age, 2000 plus. That's right, guys. Alignment, evil. Skills, advanced ninja techniques, swordplay, shooting, as in beams of energy from his hands, stealth, secrecy. Nicknames, Mysterious Shadow, Heartless Assassin, Shinigami Ninja. I want you all to refer to me as the Shinigami Ninja from now on. This is very important. Baal keeps to himself. He's just like me, for real, for real. He does not trust the other Void Masters, nor do they trust him. However, Baal remains Okamoni's. This person tried to create a Japanese name, but didn't know enough Japanese to actually be able to think of a Japanese name. Okamoni's most trusted assassin and soul gatherer. The only reason he accompanies the other Void Masters on their missions is so he can observe their abilities. He speaks in a sophisticated he's mispronounced or misspelled manner, and with little emotion. He's just like me. He has autism. After he left the Void Masters, his personality remained relatively unaltered. He served Selenia with the same obedience he gave to Okamoni. However, he relinquished his bloodthirsty ways and swore to make up for all the people he killed. Damn, he just like me. Baal also uses gravity as an ability, using it to attack more swiftly and destroy his opponents. Quotes, I'm not sure if you're capable of redeeming yourself. Sorry, but you need to die. Let me give you a piece of friendly advice. When in the heat of battle, even allies won't hesitate to stab each other in the back. No space here. I've seen yet more of the scope of your abilities. I don't see Master Okamoni around. Why did he choose this as a quote? That's just like a normal thing you would say. It's sad when a man is afraid of the darkness, but nothing less than pathetic when a man fears the light. I will avenge those I killed under your command. Even if my blood too is spilled over the earth, I will wash theirs off of my hands. I wish I could be like him for real. That's right. Such power. Nothing personal, kid. Heh. Don't make me unleash my real powers. Sonic fans never fail to be cringe and edgy. Is there anything on the same level as the Sonic fandom that you can go to when you want cringe content? Like Hystrixia just listed Danny Phantom as something she had to learn about when in the autism class. But is there anything on par with Sonic? I don't think there is, probably, right? Undertale? Is Undertale that powerful? My Little Pony? Yes. My Little Pony is always an option. But on the other hand, being perverted and wanting to fuck horses is not the same as being autistic and cringe. Similar yet different. I like the TV tropes page where people talk about waiting for Sonic to digest them. Has Been Hotel, it's getting there, I guess. As soon as you start watching Has Been Hotel, they give you like a 5-minute lore dump. So that definitely appeals to the people that want to fuck cartoon characters and also like having deep wiki pages full of lore. Five Nights at Freddy's? Yeah, that's one. Isn't Five Nights at Freddy's more just like kids instead of just autistic people? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of overlap. The game is literally made out of OCs. Wow, I didn't know that. So, are all the, like, even the characters that are famous and liked all OCs? That actually makes sense. The character design is all over the place. So I'm not particularly surprised that it's all OCs. I never understood Undertale, and because I suck at rhythm gaming, I never will play it. I like the Japanese term for OCs. What would that be? Orikara, I guess? I mean, they just say original character, don't they, in Japanese? Is there a separate word that I don't know about? Muffet is more popular and it's a literal OC. Skullgirls is all OCs. I thought Skullgirls were designed by Alex Ahad, weren't they? At least that has like one artist that seems to have a general idea of aesthetics. There's a fuck ton of artists who grew up with Five Nights at Freddy's. The deep-ass Five Nights at Freddy's lore. It also explains why everyone wants to fuck that wolf, animatronic wolf. I thought it was cool. I don't know. I try and stay away from OC fandom. Oh, I think what they say is uchinoko, which is like my child in my house, is sort of a term I see a lot. I try and stay away from OC fandom, whatever language it is, so I'm not particularly familiar with the terminology they use. I like Muffet, cute spider girl with T. Literally the only Undertale character I even slightly like is the fish woman when it's drawn by a different artist to make her look as attractive as possible and fuckable as possible, but that's about it. Here's another thing. Don't like Earthbound. Don't like Earthbound-like games. Don't like indie games. Don't like rhythm games. Don't like games with big autistic fan bases. So yeah, I'm never ever fucking touching Undertale ever. Fuck that shit. That shit sucks. Suck my cock. Don't look up So Sorry Undertale. Yeah, I won't actually. Unlike a lot of other things in stream that I was told to not look up and immediately looked up on stream. Toby Fox has brought a plague on this world with that game. Is Toby Fox like a multi-millionaire at this point? How many copies of Undertale sold? Is he hanging out with Notch in his McMansion now? Yes. I told you not to look up ballerina feet, but no. Honestly, ballerina feet weren't as horrid as I thought they would be. Also, we all know that ballerina feet are fucked up at this point. 1 million plus? Jesus. It's worse than I thought. I think Toby Fox composing is tremendously overrated. Unfortunately, the entire planet is full of shit that you think is overrated that is actually very popular. Work in game marketing. He also published independently, so he may have cleared house to being a millionaire. Yeah. If you sold more than 1 million copies on Steam alone, you're probably a millionaire. I could tell you to look up the horrid fanfic I read on my trip, but I won't. I mean, it kind of felt like more than a fanfic. It looked like it was properly published, wasn't it? Hystrixia was sending me data for a Tarzan homoerotic fanfic, which was all about guys wrestling other guys and their cocks touching while they were wrestling. It was slightly gay, just a tad bit of gayness. No, just kidding. It was like, oops, all gay. What does it have to do with Tarzan? It allows the author a opportunity to have scenes where strong men grapple and wrestle each other naked, and then they get huge boners and like their dicks cross each other, which doesn't actually happen if you're actually exerting yourself. The thing about guys' dicks is you don't get a boner unless you're relaxed. So if you're struggling for your life, then your body is designed so it will be using all of its blood flow to power your muscles, not your cock. This is part of the reason why you have erectile dysfunction if you have performance anxiety, because you have to be relaxed. So when your wife is trying to provide you with moral support and being like, you can do it, you can get a boner, it's actually not helping. She's just making you more tense. Also fucked his cousin. It was a wild ride. Hashtag normal things. I like how Unicorn Overlord lets you fuck your cousin. Vanillaware is truly the only video game company in the year 2024 that still has strong morals and beliefs about what their video game should be like. They're like, yes, I will have a video game where you can romance any of the female characters and give them your ring and also fuck your cousin. I'll be playing Unicorn Overlord when it goes on sale. Same thing for Stellar Blade. Can't you fuck your cousin and your sister in some Fire Emblem games? I don't know, can you? I don't play enough Nintendo, so I don't know. I think that just might be the Dojins. Fire Emblem Fates did the funny where they make you wonder if you fuck your sister or not. Is that the one where you can either go to not Japan and get your Dami Mommy purple-haired stepsister, or you can go, or it's the opposite. You can go to Japan and you get your actual sister, or you can go to like Germany or whatever it is and fuck your Dami Mommy stepsister. Is it implied that you can fuck... The redhead is the Fire Emblem Fates' actual sister, right? Is it implied that you fuck her? Because that would be kind of base, not gonna lie. Not Japan versus not Europe. Truly, my Nippon Steel folded 10,000 times Yamato Damashi incest sister will not give me any kind of genetic problems, even if I have sex with her. It's okay. BB would get mad, lovers, pox, and crusaders, kings. Is that the terminology they use from fucking your sister too much in Crusader Kings? Everything I've learned about Crusader Kings tells me that it's just like endless incest. If you're not fucking your cousin in Crusader Kings, you're basically playing the game wrong, is what I've been told. Also, if you don't have like a shit ton of genetic diseases and stuff, then you're playing the game wrong. You're supposed to build your character with like 8,000 different maladies from the start for maximum difficulty mode, and then fuck your sister so you get even more genetic diseases. And then you enjoy playing as like a horribly deformed king. Real European simulator, I know, right? They understand how European civilization has been built. This is why all the other countries that colonized by Europe failed, because they didn't have enough incest. Crusader Kings is basically a breeding simulator where you try to get the best stat boost genetic traits, and you can only get that by fucking your sister. If Europeans like soccer so much, they should be trying to have incest babies between like Messi and, I don't know, some other people who are playing for Barcelona. See, that's a video game idea that no one has tried yet. Two tastes that Europeans love, that taste great together. Breeding strategy in the form of Crusader Kings combined with Football Manager. And then you add like one of the train simulator games at the same time, so you can build your empire of trains and manage your football team and then like do sort of incestuous breeding. This would definitely be a huge fucking hit. Was there much incest in feudal Japan? Not as much as Europe, I think. Japan had a pretty long warring states period, but it still wasn't as long as the European like breeding your cousins period, and they were spending a lot of time killing each other instead of breeding. In most cases, it was actually the opposite. You would in Japanese feudal Japan, you would make sure you had access to your sister and stuff, and then you would force her to marry one of your enemies, so you would have a truce. I mean, Europe was doing that as well, but it was extremely common in Japanese wartime. And then it wouldn't help at all because you would still fucking attack your enemies and like murder everyone as well. And then you would retrieve your sister and be like, haha, sorry I killed your husband, LMAO. I'm gonna have you marry this other warlord. And she's like, surely my brother will not kill my next husband again. And it's like, haha, sorry sister. Guess again. You're widow simulator number 2. This is actual shit that was happening with like Oda's sister and shit, and she was just like, fuck this. Fuck my life. Japan ripped off China in the dowry marriage. Dowries are interesting because depending on the culture, you either pay for the woman to come to your house or you have to pay the woman's house. Like, it can go both ways, and sometimes the female is considered to be like a plus resource, so you have to pay for her, and in other cases it's the opposite. It's like you're gonna have to take care of her, so you expect to receive shit from the house, and you get stuff, and it changes depending on the culture. I know there's been studies done about this. It's pretty interesting. I don't think Japan actually has much dowry culture. The strategic marriages in the Sengoku period are different from what we would consider to be normal dowry. I haven't really heard much about dowry in like historic Japanese fiction and stuff, so I don't think they did have a dowry culture. Now that I think about it, I haven't really heard about it. In a lot of other cultures, you would just straight up have to like give someone a cow to take your wife or to buy a wife, one way or the other. In some cultures, dowries were also down payments to support the wife in the event the husband died. Yeah, that would be the case if you were the one paying for the wife instead of the other way around. Because Japan, for a long time in Japanese history, it was just like isolated villages surrounded by mountains and deep impenetrable forest. So I think if you were a peasant in Japan, you were just like, everyone was just fucking everyone. And there wasn't as strong a sense of inheritance and shit. Like, it was more village level survival instead of individual property inheritance, which is where the dowry comes into play. I want to see an interview with the 2 people left who are getting an arranged marriage in Japan. I mean, they're doing arranged marriages. They just have a different format now than they used to, that's all. Arranged marriage was a pretty good system if in a time period when you had to get married, when women weren't allowed to work and stuff. It definitely contributed to higher birth rates, that's for sure. It was a time when even the most unattractive of chuds was allowed to get a wife as long as he had like some amount of job, and in some cases not even that. Unfortunately, if you're an ugly bastard and you want to have a wife, you were born in the wrong era. In the current era of low birth rates and where women are allowed to, like, work, they don't really have any reason. There's just too many women who would be like, I'd rather be lonely than have to take care of my ugly bastard husband. Which should not be allowed. Damn woman. We just have to make women holding a job illegal again. Make sure women can't have jobs and property and our problems will be solved. Like those hentai where all the girls are tied up to like the breeding factory cages. Too many women who would choose the bear. I have to play Baldur's Gate 3. I'm planning to reward myself with Baldur's Gate 3 after I'm done with the first chapter of the manga. But I'm going to finish Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous first. I need to recharge my Western traditional fantasy juice. And Coom to Shadowheart. The number one reason that I haven't bought Baldur's Gate 3 at full price or anything is because I find the woman unattractive. They really kind of fucked up on the face modeling in a very specific way in which it makes a lot of the women less attractive than they could be. I find most of the Baldur's Gate women, like, right in the uncanny valley where I can't masturbate. Like, they're almost there, but they're not. If they had just hired slightly better face modelers, then they would be better off, but no. It's just sort of uncoomable. Are you serious? I'm a professional artist whose entire job is making sure that my characters are as attractive as possible. I could go out of my way to bring up the Baldur's Gate female faces and specifically what they did wrong in the face modeling and stuff to say why they're not as attractive as they could be. The drow, the evil woman having a fucking man face is the worst part. I would be evil just for the drow plotline, but it's a fucking travesty, honestly. I've illustrated on stream what they fucked up about Minthara's face. And it's pretty bad. So this is the image in which she looks the most attractive and is often posted when they say, no, she doesn't have a man face. But it's much more of an outlier. Here's a better image. This is a fucking man face. The sharpness of the jaw, the distance from the eyebrows to the eye, both the jaw sharpness here and the jaw sharpness around the chin. The chin is way too defined. Just look at the angles of the face. And this is the number one problem that infects all of the characters, not just her. They put the fucking jowl lines to be way, way, way too prominent in a way that they're almost always visible, and it makes all the female characters look an extra 15 to 20 years older than they should be. Also, you can fucking see the crease in her brow as well. That shit is like... Guys, come on. This is so fucking easy. Just don't make your women fucking wrinkly. Jesus Christ. People who can't see this as like a man face just haven't been drawing as long as I have, so they've been trained to ignore the various facial problems, but my god, it's fucking awful. This is her making grumpy face. Even that isn't as bad as this screenshot. See, because they were able to do face modeling, this is one of the big problems of face modeling. Because face modeling has gotten better and they can do like all this extra stuff with the face, less talented face modeling using games it's resulted in really ugly females. But just the general face profile is bad. It just is bad. It's not attractive. As a professional artist, let me tell you, women are defined by the female facial and body features are defined by how much fat is visible. So everything is going to be more rounded. Women have a layer of fat underneath their skin that men do not, which softens up all of the curves in the body. So everything becomes more rounded and more curvy. Men, you just draw a fucking rectangle and a square and it's going to look masculine. For women, everything should be ovals. Literally looks like the dude who drove the boat to the manta ray dives on my trip, only purple instead of tan. At worst, she looks like a pretty lady doing cosplays in her 30s. Come on, man. You guys are just way more forgiving. Looks like me in drag. It's unacceptable. So, and I'm going to be playing it on PS5, so I won't have like the more attractive female mods, so. Will you bang Arushale or not? That's the most important question for now. I'm fucking ignoring her. I don't even care about her enough to tell her to leave the party. I don't need some moe blob succubus telling me that I shouldn't become like a giga demon, which I am. I'm playing a chaotic neutral demon route for Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. So when she was like, you shouldn't go down this path, I'm like, shut the fuck up, ho. No, we're going Nocticula End. I actually stopped playing Wrath of the Righteous because I got to my Nocticula sex scene. So that basically was like, I have achieved my job here. I've fucked the demon woman. But I'm actually going to finish it because it's like a fucking 200-hour game. And I've already gotten too deep into it. So I'm not going to drop it like I do with a lot of other video games. I saved before the Nocticula showdown, and I chose to murder Nocticula and overthrow her to properly assert dominance over her in the Pathfinder combat system. And then I restarted my save and then chose to bend the knee to Nocticula because as much as I love killing women, I can't live in a world in which purple demonic pussy is destroyed. I'd prefer to bend the knee and be a middle manager of hell than actually lose Nocticula, so I didn't actually kill her. Speedrun to sex demon woman any % world record when? It took me like 200 hours, unfortunately. Not gonna lie though, most of you all would get a boner if a woman who looked like Minthara expressed a remote interest in you. See, this is another cope of modern gaming. It's like, oh my god, you fucking incels. If there was an actual female like this IRL, you would be so hot for her. Guess what? I have higher standards for my fiction than I do for real life. Okay? Excuse me if I want my women in my fucking video game escapist fantasy to look more attractive than the grossly overweight ham beast that I have to look at every day when I live in America. Do we really have to lower our standards that far? 200 hours, Jesus Christ. It really does take that much time. There's options to speed up combat, but if you're playing on even slightly higher difficulties, the AI is so fucking stupid that if you don't go turn by turn, then you immediately fucking your team just fucking dies. And counters that you can do just like win easily if you're playing on turn-based mode in Pathfinder. If you just start going like just run it automatically, like everybody just fucking dies. So you have to go pretty slowly. It's the weird thing about ugly video game women is that they aren't casting ugly people in Hollywood, LOL. The only face scan models that have been good recently are the ones done by Capcom. Ada looks terrific in the Resident Evil 4 remake. Same for Nico and Devil May Cry. Ashley kind of looks a little iffy, but I wasn't particularly attracted to Ashley in the original Resident Evil 4 with her big floppy ears that everyone thinks is cute, so I don't really care if she's not that attractive in the remake as well. Besides Capcom though, I haven't had, since face scanning became popular, I haven't had a female character in video games in which I'm like, damn, that's hot, in quite a while now. In fact, there are many female characters, I'm talking about you, Mortal Kombat, where I actively am just like, holy shit, that's so fucking ugly. What the fuck were they thinking? Are they making these women ugly on purpose? The answer is yes, by the way. They are making them ugly on purpose. We know because we have images of the people that they're face scanning. They make the boobs smaller and then they make the characters uglier. Cyberpunk? Yeah, Cyberpunk had some good females. CD Projekt Red is good at face scanning, I'll give them that. But Witcher 3 was hotter. Cyberpunk... I mean, Panam is, she's hot, but the character itself is kind of annoying, so... The truth is, I don't like the plot in Cyberpunk so much that I don't even care about the characters. I've greatly enjoyed the time I spent in Cyberpunk when I just jump around and shoot shit in the city. Just playing it as GTA, but as soon as I have to deal with fucking wholesome Chungus Keanu Reeves being like, hey, wake up, samurai, I just totally shut down. I truly don't care about the characters. I felt the same way about Witcher as well. I enjoyed walking around the big not Poland fantasy landscape and collecting stuff, but as soon as it was like, hey, don't you care about Geralt's romance? And I'm like, no, I don't actually. I don't care about any of these people. If you make the woman look good, you don't want to punch them. MK9 is proof it doesn't really matter what in terms of punching. The problem is Americans are like violence more than sex, so that they'll still buy MK as long as they're chopping women in half, even if the characters are unattractive. It doesn't work like this in the Japanese market, where they still value masturbation over hot characters more than cutting them in half. But in the American market, the spilled guts is more important than women being attractive, unfortunately. Yennefer is the gold standard for Western female character design. Yes, unfortunately, Poland is not a Western country. It's Slav land, which explains why their women are actually attractive. We haven't had an attractive female created by a Western video game company in years now, unless you guys can think of one. I remember when the Dead Space remake came out, comparing the videos of Dead Space 1 to Dead Space 2, and I fucking remembered how hot the Dead Space 1 women's bodies were. They were like full coom territory, and I was like, oh shit. Shantae does not count, you dumb motherfucker. I'm talking about AAA gaming, Jesus Christ. Of course Shantae is gonna be hot. She's from way before the current, like, not hot video game characters. Look at this shit. Dead Space 1 original characters. What was her name? Oh yeah, Kendra Daniels. Look at the fucking booba in this shit. She's not even supposed to be hot. You're supposed to be like focused on the horrible necromorphs. Look at the fucking modeling. It's just like booba, booba, booba. Also, her ass is pretty fucking impressive as well. I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna come! Is that boobs? Is that boobs? She's like a great butterface video game character. It's like, it's definitely like a 7 out of 10 face, but a 10 out of 10 tits and ass. Feels good, man. Because this was like the default character modeling back then. I forgot what year Dead Space 1 was. It was just like, oh, female character, let's just make sure that her boobs are just like sticking the fuck out. Let's just make sure that you're just horny by default. We didn't even bat an eye. We haven't had character design like that in like 10 years now. Cinematic mod Alex. Yeah, I don't think I need to look it up. I know what you're talking about. Her eyes are so close, they're committing incest. I know, right? ...2009, I think. Man, Western gaming has gone down like the hole pretty fucking quickly if you think about it. My god. I can't believe they fucking remade a game that came out in 2009. I think Ada's really hot and she's not super booba, at least from RE4. Yeah, I don't know if you were here when I began this rant, but I basically said that Capcom is the only company that was using face scanning that I think is doing a good job and still making hot female characters. Ada in RE4 is especially good, and they do it with not Giga Booba, but instead just making her Kumable in general, which is very important. RE4 didn't need a remake. That's what I thought initially, but then I actually played the remake and I really enjoyed it. Way more than I thought I would. So, not gonna lie, I was extremely pleasantly surprised by the RE4 remake. It's a lot of fun. I think it's probably the best remake we've had in terms of like respecting the original, but also being like we can improve on specific parts about it and giving us more content in certain ways. And Ada is still hot. I played the original after I played the remake, and I was like, you know what? The remake was okay. Because there isn't any real gunplay in RE4 original, in retrospect. It might be just because I'm too good at it, but the gunplay is so easy. Like, shooting things is so easy in RE4 original. Like, even on pro mode, you just fucking dominate the Spanish villagers, so... That shit is my life. Try professional. Of course I beat it in professional multiple times. I mean, RE4 original is one of my favorite games of all time. So when I say the remake was both necessary and a great improvement, I don't say it lightly. RE4 original is one of the few 10 out of 10 games in my life, and yet I still enjoy the remake. The controls are perfect, that's why it feels easy. Yeah, but also you can fucking stun people with like one shot. Also, the controls are not perfect. You're just used to them. the remake adds lags and delays and unnecessary momentum to everything you do. That contributes to the feel. I think the feel is good. How do you like Ada, new voice actor? I think you should play RE4 in English because despite being a Japanese game, it's supposed to be like a silly, schlocky Hollywood movie from like the 80s and stuff. However, the Ada voice actor is so bad. From my second playthrough forward, I just play in Japanese just because the very brief periods in which she speaks is enough for me to get angry. That's how much I fucking hate the voice actress. She's fucking atrocious. For that reason alone, I can't give the remake a 10 out of 10, whereas the original is definitely a 10 out of 10. She singularly takes the game from being like a 9.75 down to like a 9.5 or a 9.25. The remake voice actress was that bad? She's that bad. See, there was a Ada who plays the character in one of the movies, and they gave her the voice acting role. And this is a big mistake that studios make, is that they think that someone who is qualified to be an actor is also qualified to be a voice actor. And this is definitely not the case, and she's fucking awful. She's so fucking awful that she got bullied on Twitter over her voice acting, and then everyone there was like the backlash of the backlash where they're like, no, why are you people being racist, why are you people being mean? But she really did truly an awful job. That's not even logical. Unfortunately, it happened. It's almost as bad as the people who insist that a voice actor has to be the same race as the character. I think I'm afraid that Capcom got influenced by those sort of cultural warrior shit regarding this decision. Same race? Do you not know about this? This is one of the things. This is one of the pet peeves of the social justice warriors for the last like 10 to 15 years. Maybe not 10 years, last 5 years or so. Where if there's like an Asian character and it's being voice acted by like a white voice actor, they'll get angry and stuff about it. By they, I mean people on Twitter, which if you're a game developer, you really shouldn't be paying attention to. But this is a real thing. Literally the dumbest shit. Unfortunately, it do be like that. It's usually only in one direction. Like, nobody's gonna try and change Kratos' voice actor because he's voice acted by a black guy with deep, thick voice. But it's usually just gonna be like, if you're a white voice actor and you're voice acting like a black character or something like, or an Asian character, they're gonna get angry. Average Twitter Discord. Twitter is just endless virtue signaling, and if you're actually going to try and produce something, you should just not listen to them in any context. 90% of people on Twitter are just trying to accuse you of being a Nazi pedophile so that they themselves look better. Is that most of the Asian people don't care? I mean, Asian people are playing it in their original language in Japanese or Korean or whatever, and they get high quality voice acting because voice actors are actually good in that language. Not gonna lie, I fucking hate English voice acting 90% of the time, especially when I'm consuming my anime and stuff. Which is good that I'm fluent in Japanese, but I was playing the Stellar Blade demo. I'll play Stellar Blade later in the year when it's on sale. And I tried to play it in English because there was no Japanese voice acting option, and the English voice acting was starting to piss me off, so I just changed it to Korean, even though I don't know Korean, of course. And that felt better. Isn't Stellar Blade just knockoff Nier Automata? It's like Nier Automata with some amount of Sekiro-style parry combat is how I would describe it. The number one reason why I didn't buy it was because I don't think Eve is as hot as she's supposed to be, because they did the Korean plastic surgery on her jaw and made it too sharp, too triangular. But the number two reason was because I don't like Sekiro combat. I bought Sekiro recently and I made some progress on it, but I just don't like parrying. I'm just not a huge fan of parrying. Even when I get good at parrying, I don't like the whole process of learning the entire moveset of the enemy and like memorizing the timing and stuff like that. Like, you don't have to parry in Stellar Blade, but it's pretty obvious that some of the movement dodge-based defensive options have been nerfed because they want you to parry more. Not even in Bloodborne. I did a little bit of parrying in Bloodborne, but I like dodging more. If I could have a choice between blocking, parrying, and dodging, I like having a block build first and foremost, and then being forced to figure out what attacks I have to dodge and shit. That's kind of my favorite setup. And then being like a slow-ass tank and shit. The headless monkey legit spooked me. Whoa, monkey penis, whoa. Would rather bombard a foe with magic. I was a faith build, my friend. It was lightning. Faith, unironically one of the weaker builds in Elden Ring, unfortunately. I was just playing what I wanted to play based on role-playing instead of like going for what was powerful. And when I finished my first playthrough, I immediately started a second playthrough using the stuff that was most powerful and was being used by speedrunners at the time. So I started with like the Uchigatana build and got more katana as I went. I was seeing how quickly I could beat the game, not like a true speed run, but just to see how much easier it was if I used the broken shit, and holy shit, Dex is so overpowered. My god, the fucking katanas. The fucking katanas are just like off the hook. That shit is so much bullshit. They do as much damage as like the strength weapons, and then they apply bleed as well. Mimic Tier, haha. Yeah, Mimic Tier was pretty funny. I was playing Elden Ring on stream and everyone was like, get the Mimic Tier. I was like, how do I get it? So they guided me to the Mimic Tier location, and then we straight up had the Mimic Tier kill one of the bosses without me doing anything. I was just standing around. It was pretty funny. Early Mimic Tier was fucking hilarious. No reason to use any other katana than Moonveil or Nagakiba. I was using Rivers of Blood and stuff, I think, for killing Melina. Part 2. They had to nerf the fuck out of Mimic Tier. They nerfed the shit out of Mimic Tier, and they nerfed the shit out of Radahn. I had so much difficulty on Radahn because I was fighting him on foot the first playthrough, and then I got to the second playthrough, and they had nerfed him by that point, and he was easy as fuck. Rest in peace, my prince. You deserve better. Rivers of Blood is mega bullshit, yes. But you know what? This is why you shouldn't take PvP in Souls games seriously. That shit is barely balanced enough to be even somewhat usable in a PvE context. You think that any of that shit is balanced in PvE? Fuck that. Anybody who thinks that they're like hot shit for winning in PvP in Souls games is fucking insufferable. It's good casual fun though. I tried playing PvP in every one of the Souls games, and the speed at connecting and finding someone to fight is always just too slow for me to play it more than a few times. It just starts to get annoying after a while. It really shows you how important it is to be able to create lobbies and just like get to your next opponent immediately, like in a fighting game. Because if you can't do that, it just gets really annoying. You want to go from one opponent to one opponent really quickly. Also, the skilled level difference between people who take PvP seriously and people who are just trying to have fun is so massive. Not necessarily even the skill level. The build difference is so massive that you can't take that shit seriously. So. Not adding iframes to the backsteps like in Dark Souls 2. A lot of people who like Dark Souls 2 like it only for the PvP. I fucking hate Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 and Sekiro are the two Miyazaki games. I guess it's not a Miyazaki game. The two From Software games post Demon Souls that I haven't completed and don't particularly plan to complete. I was so excited for Dark Souls 2 and I fucking dropped it like halfway through. I was just like, I'm fucking done. This game sucks. Dark Souls 2 was like up there with Devil May Cry 2 in terms of like games I was so massively disappointed in. The three games that had a great game 1 and had a horrible game 2, Devil May Cry, Xenosaga, and Dark Souls, all had massive ball droppings on the second game. Usually video games are better on the second game because they've figured out like the gameplay formula and then they can like add more assets and shit. So usually the second game is like the best of the video games, but those are just like massive ball drops right there. That was Dark Souls 3 for me. I'm okay with Dark Souls 3. I actually kind of like Dark Souls 3. I feel like it's a fitting end to this series. I like how it sort of does karaoke of Dark Souls 1. Like, you see a lot of familiar places that are slightly different. I actually like that. Some people complain about it, but I like that a lot. Video games usually are the best on the third run. I don't think so. I think by the third one, in many cases, the publisher starts to step in, or they've overused the idea, or something like that. Resident Evil 2 is better than 3. I don't care how much porn there is of Nemesis fucking Jill with tentacles. 2 is still better than 3. Borderlands 2 better than Borderlands 3. There's a bunch of other things that I can think of where 2 is like a big step forward and by 3 it's sort of a step back. RE2 is mega overrated. It's so easy, I never feel any horror. I really like the RE2 remake as well, actually. I thought it was actually shocking how similar the RE2 remake felt like RE2. Even though it was like a completely different game in terms of like the camera and stuff, of course. Borderlands 3 is a fucking disgrace, chat. Borderlands 3 doesn't exist. I didn't dislike it to the point that I want to say it doesn't exist, but it definitely left a sour taste in my mouth when I finished the game. The fact that I was able to finish it says that I still like looter shooters as a formula. But Borderlands 3, if you play it to the end, the entire game you have Lilith, stupid bitch-ass Lilith, telling you to go and do various things while she just sort of sits around. And at the very end of the game, she's like, now I'm gonna unleash my super special girl boss power. And then she fucking self-sacrifices herself. After you defeat the boss, she's like, now I have to sacrifice myself. And like, then she goes and flies to the moon and creates a giant image on the moon. And the entire game's like she's doing it. Like, the entire game, you basically have to do shit for her. And in the end, she fucking steals the show. And it's like, oh, girl boss, yay. And even the ending song is like, this girl's on fire! As if it's like a reference to her, which it is. It is a reference to her. And it's just like, oh my god. These fucking writers are in love with their own fucking character. This is awful. It was so annoying. American video game writers do not know what the fuck they're doing. They think that people play video games for their writing. Writing in video games exists only to make the player feel cool, or to make the gameplay as a whole better. Nobody's playing the video game for your fucking writing. I'm talking about like every Far Cry writer who's like, oh, do you like shooting people? Well, guess what? That makes you a bad person, Mr. Gamer. Look how profound this writing is. It's just like, oh my god. I'm enjoying the game in spite of your writing, you shitty ass writers. Not because of it. I remember legit being embarrassed when the music started, LMAO. It just made me feel like sick to my stomach. Last of Us 1 was pretty nice. I haven't even finished Last of Us 1, and I don't ever plan to play Last of Us 2. I'm just bored with zombies. I like Uncharted way more than Last of Us. We've overdone the fucking zombie shit to hell. Whereas we haven't done enough not Indiana Jones content. Give me more Uncharted, Naughty Dog. The story in a game is like the story in a porno. Yes, exactly. My favorite stories are in Ace Combat, where the entire writing is just like, oh my god, is that BaalBud, the fighter pilot, with the mark of the demon on his wing? He's doing it. He's really defeating the entire enemy air force single-handedly. We can win this war! It's like, that's right. Thank you, Bandai Namco. Suck my dick harder. I am that guy. I'm fucking unstoppable. Last of Us is just another zombie game, prettier than most, but still a zombie game. We know all of the plot points of zombie games. It's like, what's happening, the initial panic, and then there's always like the we need to hole up in this certain enclave or something, and then we find out that humans are the real monsters, blah 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 blah. The same fucking shit every single fucking time. We've done it so many times at this point. It's like reading the same fucking isekai where the same fucking main character gets sent to the same fucking not Europe fantasy world and has the same fucking powers every single fucking time, and nobody can think of like anything fucking new. The entire zombie genre is just like that. The last game that got me hyped was Armored Core 6. I need to finish my third playthrough of Armored Core 6. Armored Core 6 was pretty fucking hyped, not gonna lie. Have to get my non-existent, or more like my gaseous waifu, alien waifu ending. People at Naughty Dog freaking out if you call them zombies. If Naughty Dog is truly getting angry that you're calling their zombies zombies, then they might be fucking finished. I know that they no longer have Amy Hennig to write, and they have to have, what's his name, do the writing, which is a bad sign in itself. But if they actually insist on being like, guys, they aren't zombies, then yeah, you can fuck off. Thank you very much. See, the reason why I haven't gotten bored of Western fantasy, like D&D style fantasy, is you can do a lot of different stories within the setting. Whereas zombie setting, you always get the same stories. I'm fucking shocked that we had like 8 seasons of Walking Dead. I can't imagine what kind of boring ass repetitive storytelling they had to do to make that possible. It's always just like different flavors of human desperation. And even if you get like a parody lighthearted zombie movie like Shaun of the Dead, we've overdone that as well at this point. So there's basically no more zombie stories left to tell. Whereas like if you're playing like Western fantasy game, you can have different flavors. You can have like zombies in Western fantasy. You can have like living the high life. I mean, that's why I'm doing romantic comedy, anime style romantic comedy in Western fantasy setting with this comic. Zombies by their own are a really bad medium for a story now. It's just been overdone at this point. It's not even a setting. Well, it is a setting. It's just a really limited setting, because the setting by definition becomes about like limited resources and stuff like that. So besides the fact that shooting zombies in the head and watching their heads explode is super fun, it's a good setting for video games, but it's not a good setting for storytelling, is what I want to say. You can have a wide variety of zombie type enemies from a gameplay perspective, but it doesn't lead to any kind of different mental states in terms of the story. Because you're never going to be like, hey, let's negotiate with this zombie trader, you know? Hey, thanks for the subscription, CPLK. I appreciate the support. How are you doing today? Zombies really are overdone then? Yes, they are. Even capturing a female zombie and pulling out all of its teeth and using it as an Oda hole has been overdone. If you read hentai, there's a ton of hentai like that as well. We're basically out of zombie content. There's nothing left to do. Alright, I think I'm done with this page. I might have to come back a little, but I'm mostly done, I think. I don't think I need to do much more. I think we need to have more space opera. Here's my suggestion. Space opera. Because we all know that Star Wars is fucking cooked now, thanks to Disney. So I think this is a story genre that we can go back into that has potential. Already done on Overlord. Are people talking about Isekai? Because let me tell you, I've read way more Isekai than you guys, and if anyone is suggesting what kind of extra Isekai they want, I can already tell you it's been done. Except dwarf as main character. There hasn't been any kind of popular dwarf as main character Isekai, because Japanese can't self-insert unless it's like the standard Japanese guy. They can't self-insert as thick guys. Sci-fi needs a comeback. We've had like these high-minded Hollywood productions for more harder sci-fi. We've got our Dune movie. I went to see Ad Astra in the theater for some reason. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. But there's a lot of people who are like, I like space and science for hard sci-fi, but we're not getting like space opera, fun space shit besides like Guardians of the Galaxy recently. And of course, Star Wars is fucking cooked, so. Grax spin-off when. I do find dwarves extremely easy to draw. They're easy to draw and easy to write. They're just like me hammer, me mountain, me liquor. Feels good, man. What was Ad Astra any good? We watched Joker instead back then. Ad Astra was called Dad Astra as a joke, and that's a pretty good description about it. It's just like the director getting over his daddy issues in space. That's all. If you like hard sci-fi, it has a nice hard sci-fi look to it. Hard sci-fi is a really bad genre for, I think, visually and video games. I think it's good for novels if you really like science shit and you're gonna go like deep into the actual like physics about how time travel works in this setting and stuff like that. But I think it's fucking shit if you want to have like a video game, and it's a huge reason why Starfield is a shitty, boring game, because they were like, this is gonna be NASA punk. Like, who the fuck was like, hey, you know what's cool? A cool space video game? A space video game where there's no alien races. Everything looks like a slightly shittier version of a NASA spacesuit. Like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, Todd, who gave you this idea? It can get dry real quick in film shows. Yeah. It's something best done in book format for like giga nerds, but it's not something that you should be doing in like visual mediums, I think. Starfield is complete utter trash. I think what makes it worse is that it's not complete utter trash. It's just like mediocre. It actually has way more room to be worse, which somehow makes it even worse. Because it's not like, you can't even make fun of it or hate it like Fallout 76 was. It's not even like a massive buggy mess, but it still has enough bugs to be shitty. It's not even like a horrible game, but it's just boring enough to not even be a meme. It's like the ultimate zone of indifference. Nobody should ever care about Starfield under any context, unfortunately. It's like the ultimate 7 out of 10 game that gets paid reviews, so it's like an 8.5 out of 10 in the actual review, but it's like literally a 7 out of 10 in the worst way possible. Painfully mediocre, you can't even be angry at it, exactly. Seven is generous. Anything below 7 is unplayable, though, in the modern game scoring system. It's 8 is a playable okay game, 9 is a good game, 10 is a masterpiece, 7 is like the barely acceptable level of game. If it's a buggy game that has redeeming quality and it's a 7, then there might be some people who are interested in it. Like, there's some like JRPGs out there that probably get a 7 or something that some people will enjoy because they have cute anime girls, or like a mecha game that has a lot of shitty shitty gameplay mechanics, but there's also parts about it that are good or something like that. Those 7s are okay, but a game like Starfield that is just like it does everything okay competently, but has nothing that it actually excels at, is like the worst kind of 7. Semi-nice models, that's it. It does have a lot of funny bugs where people like stare at your character in weird ways. Starfield, I'll give it that. It's kind of clean aesthetically, but playing it feels like playing a game you got on sale 7 years after release that you didn't really invest any interest in. Yeah. I haven't played it, but it reminds me of a lot of the games I get on my PS Plus, on my monthly free games, where I'll just like download them and fire them up because it's like, hey, it's free, I might as well play it, right? And then after about like 20 minutes, I'm like, this game is competent, but I'm not actually having fun. I have better things to do with my life. The best part of Starfield is the weakest part of Oblivion. Yes. I should play Morrowind, actually. Everyone says that Morrowind is like the jankiest masterpiece of the genre. So I should get onto that. Does Morrowind have sex mods, guys? Like Skyrim? I want to see the characters fucking with those horrible like PS1 tier models. I feel like that would be that would be fun. Where like the boobs are just triangles. I'm not looking that up. Hey, I'm not a good at model. I'm not much of a PC gamer, so I need you guys' help on this one. At this point, probably. I know they're making like a complete remake of the game. Microsoft shut down several studios today and shuffled a lot of the devs to Bethesda. RIP. Microsoft has entered the standard tech hiring phase that we had in the pandemic, except if they were doing it pre-pandemic as well, where these tech companies have way too much money, and because it's capitalism, so they have to reinvest that shit. So they're like, oh, we have to use our money, let's buy a bunch of studios. Surely these will all make like hugely successful video games and will make a shit ton of profit. Right, guys, right? And then they do that for many years until they realize, holy shit, we're losing a ton of money. And then the investors are like, why are you losing money? And then they just fire everyone because they don't have any fucking plan. It's just that Microsoft has so much more money because they're a monopoly. They can absorb way more years of bullshit with Xbox than any other company. So it's pretty possible that Xbox has never been making any profit ever. And then they're finally getting onto the phase where it's like, oh, we made a horrible mistake. All of these game studios fucking suck. Corporatism, not capitalism. I mean, the idea that you have to reinvest your money is capitalism. That's the core idea of capitalism. I'm not wrong about that. The way that Microsoft does it is definitely corporatism, though. What pisses me off is they shut down the studio that made Hi-Fi Rush as well. What the fuck? They don't know what they're doing. You should know by now. It's not them being evil, although they are also evil. It's just them being incompetent. Microsoft is both evil and incompetent, but usually they're more incompetent than being evil. Capcom wanted to make Ori for an Xbox exclusive, but the talks went so bad they just left. I mean, is that why? Are you talking about? You're talking about the original, right? For GameCube. Ironically, GameCube's still more powerful than the PS2, so it looked pretty fucking good on GameCube. Not gonna lie. I can only imagine how good it would have looked at the time if it was on Xbox. Because it looked really good on GameCube. Good night. See ya. I'm doing a long stream today. It's been 3 hours, but it's because I'm making progress. My new approach of doing the finishing process on stream instead of doing the line work is actually working out pretty well. Because like coloring in hair and stuff actually takes quite a bit of time. But I can actually do it on stream, luckily. Let's delete this. It's just really funny that Microsoft is new Sega. Yeah, but unlike Sega, they actually have a shit ton of money. So they can just keep on making their horrible decisions for years and years and years. No big company will keep studios for the sake of historic prestige. They'll keep them just for the name and hope that they make something good. That's why we still have Rare and stuff, even though... See, at the end of the day, everything is just people, right? It's not the studio, the IP, none of these things actually have any value or character in themselves. The logo doesn't have any character. It all comes down to what people you have working for you and who's creating stuff. And once people start leaving the studio, it's no longer the same studio. Once like 10% of the original OG cast is gone, you're gonna start to see effects. Once 50% is gone, it's a different fucking studio. Blizzard isn't the old Blizzard anymore, guys. You know? Dragon Ball Super is not the same as the first Dragon Ball. Toriyama isn't fucking drawing it. Dragon Ball is fucking cooked because even Dragon Ball Super was getting fixes by Toriyama. And the author who was drawing it had to have his storyboards fixed by Toriyama to add that sort of Dragon Ball flavor, and it still didn't even feel the same. Old Blizzard was like 6 guys who left the company a decade ago. Yes. There is no more Blizzard left. It's much harder to isolate who is producing the good stuff with video games because, you know, every video game needs about like at least 6 or 7 good people for it to be functional. It's even if you have like a legendary director, it's not like them producing everything themselves. But eventually, once a large percentage of those people leave, you're fucking done. You're donezo. Toriyama was hands-off for a lot of things other than like designs for Dragon Quest. Toriyama probably wasn't thinking about a lot of the long-term plot for Dragon Ball. Basically all of Toriyama is him just producing cool shit. He was a great designer, but not necessarily a great storyteller, is how it works. Blizzard hasn't been Blizzard for a long time. Yeah. When do you think Blizzard stopped being Blizzard? I know a lot of people complain about Diablo 3, especially in its launch state. I wasn't on a PC gamer at the time, and I didn't touch it. But maybe that was the beginning of the end. I can't say for sure. I was never a Blizzard fanboy, so I don't have any fond memories of them, so I don't really care when they stop being Blizzard. But it is an interesting question when, like, they reach that critical mass where, you know, things were no longer the same. After they were bought by Activision, do you think it was that late? Wasn't that pretty late in the cycle? Was that after Diablo 3 or not? The development of Overwatch. I mean, the development of Overwatch, it still had some good character designs, right? I don't know. the Diablo mobile game panel. I mean, that was definitely when everybody realized that it was fucking over. But I don't know if that was when it was actually over. That was when, like, the shit hit the fan in a very public way, and you're like, oh my god, my favorite game company, something is very, very wrong. It was when, like, the tumors, there was cancer breeding inside the company for a long time, but that was when, like, the tumors started to become fucking visible, and there was a giant lump on your forehead, and you're like, oh shit, I might have cancer. WOTLK, what was that? Warlords of... no. What does that even stand for? I can't remember. I don't play Warcraft. Not Warcraft. World of Warcraft. Wrath of the Lich King? Wow, that's pretty fucking early. I thought Wrath of the Lich King was fondly remembered as the best expansion. So, how does it go? It goes Classic, Actual Classic, Burning Crusade, and then Wrath of the Lich King? I hear a lot of people list Cataclysm when they say it fucking went down the drain. I don't hear a lot of people saying that Lich King was that bad. I remember being in college and seeing Lich King on someone's fucking couch and thinking, oh, they're playing Warcraft. I know people were fucking excited for that. Legion was a real banger. Shadowlands were stinkers. Had lots of rehashed content, unfinished content, and brought the cancer that ruined MMOs forever. LFG and LFR. I don't know what any of these acronyms are. LFG and LFR. As someone who was playing Final Fantasy XI, I know specifically when I fucking dropped Final Fantasy XI, by the way. It was when Abyssia dropped, and they took the game that had been balanced around items and stuff around a level 75, or was it 70? Level 70 something level cap, and was like, now the level cap is 100. And I was like, ah, fuck. And I dropped it after that. I had only played for about a year or so. But that was sort of the beginning of the end. LFG, oh, Automated Group Finder. Yeah, Automated Group Finder fucking ended everything for me. I tried playing Final Fantasy XIV, and because everything is automated, you don't have to make any friends. Once stuff becomes convenient, it ruins everything about the MMO. Ironically, everything about the MMO, an MMO has to be inconvenient for it to feel like an MMO. There has to be extremely limited amounts of fast travel. In Final Fantasy XI, you could only fast travel warp if you had a white mage job. So you would have to hire white mages to taxi you around. And then there has to be a very limited amount of automated matchmaking. So you have to force people that you know to... You have to essentially create a binder full of women, as Mitt Romney would say, of people you can call on to help you. And that was sort of like your true power in an MMO. Is like how many people you knew, how many max level job people you knew who could bring out a second character out of storage to help you do something. That was how you became more powerful, by creating friends. And once they started eliminating that shit and making stuff automated, that ruined the entire MMO experience. There was a taxi. That's what you would call hiring a white mage to warp you, is taxiing. You'd shout in the local town square, being like, "I need a fucking taxi to warp me out to this location," and you would make money if white mage was your job. You would make money taxiing people around. TSO has both of those things, and the servers are packed with people RPing, playing on pretty much all zones, and is to date one of the most social experiences online. So the way that you can overcome matchmaking and that automated stuff is by having everyone do erotic roleplay, as we know with Final Fantasy XIV. Everyone just pretends that they're a cat boy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's the whole point of role-playing games, right? But it's not really the world that I enjoyed in Final Fantasy XI. I like the world in which it felt like the world was a big, dangerous, hard, difficult place that you needed to cooperate with everybody to make do. And fast travel and matchmaking kind of ruins that whole thing. Is Final Fantasy XIV really all ERP? The people who are playing it long term are all ERPing. Because you run out of content too quickly if you're just playing like it for like the raids and stuff like that. So the people who are still playing are all ERPing. MMOs were good during that era when isekais normally write about. There's a reason why all the isekais about MMOs are about the MMO fucking ending, like Overlord. It's an old ass nerd who's like, I love this MMO forever and now it's fucking ending because that's what happened. And they just want to keep on playing their game, but the servers are fucking shutting down. It's actually unironically over. The rise of social media, because the MMO was the social media of that period. Unfortunately, now the social media of this period is people hanging out in Fortnite, apparently. We still have MMOs, they're just not in the form of MMORPGs, which is sad because I really like my MMORPG. But on the other hand, I can't complain because I don't have the time to actually play an MMORPG in the year 2024 when I'm spending 10 hours a day drawing my manga. MMOs peaked during college? Yeah. Instead of writing your paper, you just fucking play your MMO all day long, forever. And then you fucking fail the grade. And you're like, please, Mr. Professor, you have to understand. My uncle died or something, right? My uncle's fucking dead. It's not my fault. Please, just give me one more day to write the paper. In reality, you were just fucking playing Warcraft the entire time. My 12 hamsters all died. Please, just 2 more weeks. I am learning Blender and relearning art fundamentals. I have a little time for games. Anybody who's complaining about like getting bored of playing video games and being a consumer, basically, as soon as you move from the consumer phase to like a producer phase, like I am, you basically have no time because producing shit takes forever. You grind on your whatever thing you're working on for hours and hours and hours to produce 5 seconds worth of content, and you no longer have time to be a consumer. If you ever get bored of consuming, you have to just move on to being a producer. That's just how it is. Any advice for someone going back? I feel like I'd be so out of place, LOL. I mean, I guess it depends on what age you are. Those who can't consume produce. Produce! Oh god, I'm gonna produce! College is a place where 18-year-olds will be hanging with a 30s dude doing shit like drinking and smoking weed. Luckily, the culture of smoking weed is relevant for every age group, so I wouldn't worry too much. No one's gonna be like, heh, look at this loser. Look at Grandpa smoking weed. That's so out of style. No, everybody's gonna be fucking high as hell, lighting up nowadays, so... Translating games, so I can't stomach them once I get home. What language do you translate them for? I wanted to be a Japanese English translator for video games for a while, but I believe that market is saturated with purple-haired Tumblr-arenas, so I'm gonna give up. Moderation. Don't get fucking high all the time. Yeah, I'm sure all those college kids are definitely gonna be moderating shit. I'm sure they're gonna be like, I probably shouldn't do this 8th shot of vodka. Nope, they're gonna puke everywhere. You could translate doujins, am I right? I guess. I think I'd rather draw them instead of translate them. I've done enough translation, honestly. I guess I could go back to translation field if I have to, but I'd rather be drawing. See, the thing about translation is that a good translator is invisible. The better the translation is, the less visible a translator is. So you're basically destroying yourself, right? You're trying to become invisible. You're trying to be non-existent. So it feels like the original author is producing the content, not you. Whereas if I'm drawing, me, myself, the artist, is extremely visible. You want to be as visible as possible. And when one of the things you produce is successful, then it means that you yourself is being celebrated. Whereas no matter how good a job you do in the translation, nobody's really going to celebrate the translation. Most of the people who are reading the content don't know whatever sort of translation choices you made and stuff like that. And if they're thinking about whether the translation, it means the translation is bad. So the end goal is for you to be like, you know, not there, unfortunately. Destroy your cock instead, Gachi Hyper. Yeah, I'm already doing that, don't worry. Good translators are invisible, partly because we're never in the fucking credits, LMAO. Maybe that too, but you know what I mean. All the translators who are like pushing their whatever politics on Twitter are fucking cringe as hell. It's all about trying to respect the original source material and not going out of your way to be visible. The TLs that have a ton of TL notes are so annoying too. Just put it in the back. I don't know. Depending on the source material, it's inescapable. I still can't believe that we had translations at an early stage of stuff made by Kumeta Koji, like Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, because 90% of that shit is just puns and jokes. His entire joke style is just like listing things that happened in Japan at the time that people are thinking about. It's just like, remember that thing that happened? So every joke is like highly contextual to like the year 2002 Japan, and it's a fucking pun. And yet like, people are like, you know what, we should localize this shit. I'm like, are you people fucking crazy? But I don't know, man. People were using Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei to learn about Japanese culture and stuff, so I guess it was successful. Also, I hate Koreans. Everybody hates Koreans, even Koreans. That's why they're actively decimating their own population by not making more Koreans. Eat your hamburgers, Apollo. Yes, that was one of the weirdest choices. Long live the People's Republic. Yeah, the People's Republic, unironically, is doing better than the South Korea right now. It's some crazy shit if you think about it. At least they'll have a population. That can't be right. I mean, North Korea isn't doing good in terms of anything, like in terms of their ability to produce shit, but in terms of population, yeah. I mean, they're forced to have kids, so they're a third world country, so of course they have kids. Not that any of the other developing countries have a better birth rate. It's the devs that insist on doing weird shit like that despite translation suggestions. They think that if they localize in an extremely aggressive way, they'll get the untapped American child market or whatever the fuck. Like, I understand for Pokemon why they would want to do that. Because it's trying to sell to kids. And it was being ported in, like, the 90s and stuff. But everything else is just, like... Ace Attorney is an adult video game about murder, so they should have been more comfortable with having Japan. Also, it has all the Japanese culture, like Miko and stuff like that. Everyone's wearing fucking kimonos and shit. It was a very silly decision to think that they could localize that and pretend that it was in, like, New York or whatever. Adult video game. Unfortunately, video games are played by grown men at this point. Even more than children. Children just watch grown men play video games and then scream at the screen on YouTube. It's the 30-year-old boomers like myself that are still playing the games. You don't get it. I only play mature games for mature players such as myself. I was actually like that as a PS player, but unfortunately, current Western video game development is ass, so... Kids don't care. Kids would rather watch their favorite streamer play the game than actually play the game themselves. It's a sad age we live in, but it do be like that. That console with 0 games. I know you PC gamers want to shit on PlayStation, but PC also has 0 games if we're just going by the context of it doesn't count as a game if it isn't completely 100% exclusive to that system. I looked up exclusive PC games, and it was like, it was fucking Star Citizen and Warhammer Total War, and that was basically it. Really impressive there. It's just that you're going to be able to play everything on every system going forward. That's just how it's going to work. PC can emulate anything, that's the point. I mean, sure, but it's not like if you're just doing emulation, you can probably do it on whatever work computer you're using for one thing. So you don't really need a gaming PC. I've officially entered the point where I have too many fucking layers. And I have to merge down, but I don't feel like doing the merging down part right now. It's too much work. Yeah. I'll do it later. TV consoles are more popular and accessible? Not really. If we're going by a global audience, there's more PC gaming. The most gamers that exist, number one, are on mobile, if we count mobile games as games, which I do not. The most popular gamer is people wasting their money on gambling simulators on mobile. The second most common gamer are these third world people with like extremely shitty PCs that are complaining that they can't run the latest AAA game on their like 1070 whatever graphics card that came out 20 years ago or whatever. The number of PC gamers who have a better setup, better rig than a PS5 is probably like 1% of the gaming population, honestly. Whatever PC Master Race means, it definitely doesn't mean you're playing games at better quality. The people who actually have like high-level graphics cards are pretty low. We are actually in the fucking gacha era. Wouldn't I know? Considering how all the hentai I look at, and every single hentai is just like for gacha, so. We even have AA NFT gacha games by now on mobile. Awesome. I'm too poverty chat to play my AAA gacha and waste $10,000 a month trying to get pulls. So now I have to play the lower quality gacha. What a fucking world we live in. Blue Archive monopolizing the Coomer market. Whoa. Is that a girl in a bunny suit? I have to come. It's that type of energy. Coomers are easy targets. No shit. It's actually not the Coomers that they're targeting. Coomers, if all you care about is Coomering, I mean, if you're talking about dojin, then yes, they're easy targets. But if you're talking about gacha, it's actually gambling addicts. People who are incapable of controlling their gambling impulses. It's not Coomers. Coomers have unlimited amount of free porn on the internet. It's people with extremely low impulse control. who they play their shitty ass phone game, and the phone game is like, you need to wait 24 hours to plant your next, Farmville fucking apple tree or whatever. Or you could pay 20 cents now or $2 now, whatever the price is, I wouldn't know. And you could plant the apple tree right now. And the stupid fucking gambling addicts are like, oh, this is a great deal. It's only $1. I've worked really hard this month and I only have $7,000 in credit card debt. I'm going to reward myself by buying this shitty purchase and this shitty ass game. Farmville, did you just make up a name? Wasn't Farmville like the most famous, not necessarily gacha, but mobile game for Facebook forever? I think we're too gamering in here that we actually don't know the names of the actual Farmville. Yeah, it is. I thought, yeah, it was developed in 2009. Farmville is the fucking OG, dude. People are playing Farmville when you were still, like, in your mother's womb. Now that it's out of fashion, people don't know what it is. But that was what the wino housewives were playing when I was graduating from college. They're on Farmville 3, I'm not even joking, yep. Women love their Farmville. I don't play mobile games, I would hope not. Honestly, mobile games, you don't play them, they play you. The entire mobile game is just trying to convince you to buy in-app purchases. Any sort of gameplay mechanics they have inside the mobile game exist for the sole purpose of getting you to want to buy more shit and more microtransactions. There is no game below the game in mobile games. It's only fucking app purchases. That's it. The MILF-JILF market is absolutely filled by Farmville clones, after all. The entire reason why Activision Blizzard was bought by Microsoft wasn't for Activision Blizzard, it was for King. King, which owns Candy Crush, which produces approximately $1 billion an hour. They fucking wanted the mobile market. Candy Crush is still super powerful. This is a rabbit hole. Mobile gaming, gacha gaming. So whenever you see those like stupid ass social justice warrior articles about how video games need to appeal to women, females are 60% of the gamer market, they get those numbers by including all the mobile gamers in there as gamers. So they're counting all the fucking housewives that make in-app purchases on these mobile games while they're drinking wine at home. There's a shit ton of women who play games, but they're not actually gamers. They don't actually play games, they play fucking mobile games. And the entire point of the mobile game is just taking your money. Women gamers aren't real, they really aren't. The only time women gamers exist is when they're playing variations of Dollhouse for stuff like, Harvest Moon or Animal Crossing or Sims, or they're playing mobile gacha gambling addictions. That's it. If there's some female gamers here and there, they're just an exception to prove the rule. Blessed long BB stream. My fucking throat hurts, but I'm making progress on this. I'm in the zone of not doing anything. Just sort of chilling. Is it just me, or is something off about Eve's shoulders upper body proportions? So they chose... Well, This is something that's really common among Korean pop stars, but they really like their leggy females. So let's actually look at Stellar Blade Eve. Is there the full body? I need the full body image. This is good enough. Okay, so this is actually something that you're told when you're drawing quote-unquote heroic body types, especially for females. But if you look at an average body, it's going to be 50-50 between the upper body, including the head, and then the lower body with the legs. Even if you discount the fact that she's wearing high heels all the time, it's still almost, I don't know, like 60-40 or maybe like 65-35 in terms of proportions from the waist right here to the bottom of like the legs. So that's what I say when I mean leggy. And that's not 100% unrealistic. There are women that have that body type, but it's not a typical body type. It's a supermodel body type. So there's that. She also has larger ass than the body fat ratio on what her body would suggest. Her ass is actually thicker than the rest of the body. It's like usually people who have that level of ass, all the other parts of their body are fatter. So a large amount of the weight is concentrated in the buttocks and the thighs, and then the legs get super thin right here as they go to the heels, which also makes it kind of feel slightly unnatural in terms of the balancing. It makes the legs kind of feel oddly triangular or stick-like. Also, the boobs should be a little bigger, I feel, if they're going to give her that much ass. Because both boobs and ass are fat. So when you have a big fat ass, I guess ass can also be muscular if you're super muscular, but I don't know. I do like the modeling as a whole. My biggest complaint is the jawline. The jawline really bugs me, actually. The jawline is way too sharp, and it makes me feel that they are getting really used to Korean plastic surgery. So, from a similar perspective of Korean bodysuit models, what's her fucking name? I'm trying to remember what her name was. This chick is, I think, a really good example of similar Korean modeling where you have like the shiny bodysuit, but I don't think that her body is as weird as Eve. I think she's way cuter. BaalBud is her name. This has the similar kind of legginess to it, but I think they didn't go as hard in the way that they molded the body, so it feels less over the top than Eve. I'm looking forward to this game just for the body models, honestly. That ass, by the way. Sniff. Ah, yes. Looking good. The model is a scan of a real person, or so I thought. Yes, it is, but I'm sure they made some sort of little changes here and there. Besides, real people can look weird in real life, dude. As someone who watches the NBA, I can attest to this. You want to see a real human being? This fucking creature is gonna be like the best NBA player for the next 5 years if he doesn't like destroy his knees. Look at this fucking thing. This is why I was talking about how arm length is a variable between people. His arms stretched out literally go down to his knees. It's actual fucking Slender Man. So, yeah, the whole argument of being a real human being that exists in the real world doesn't look weird. That's not how it works. Stop being mean. Nah, it's okay. Victor isn't watching this stream. Also, I only wish the best for him. I'm actually extremely worried that he's gonna like blow out one of his fucking knees or something, because he's doing so well right now. I'm just terrified every time he plays. Sony fan forever, LMAO. Now that's a name that's asking for bullying on the Twitch stream. Shaq is ridiculous. Shaq is a guy who basically was able to make a basketball career just out of having good genetics. Not gonna lie. Dude fucking lucked into just high level genetics and that was it. Appendages too long, 2 out of 10 would not jam with. Watching him play against other NBA players who are also 7 feet tall is just like, it fucking blows your mind. Cause like, everybody on that court is also like incredibly freakishly tall. Like they're all like 6'5" and above. And yet, he still stands out like fucking Slender Man. As a 6'5" dude, my knees get fucked up from almost anything, so that's real. As a 5'11" dude, I was playing a lot of pickup basketball, and I started to experience intense knee pain just by all the jumping up and down I was doing. I don't think people's knees were meant to absorb the 10,000 pounds of pressure you get just by jumping and landing multiple times. We really shouldn't be doing basketball at all, now that you think about it. Once I stopped playing basketball, it got way better. Basketball is not healthy. I picked this name years ago to harass a streamer friend who hates Sony. It continues to pay off to this day. Peak troll move. I'll make sure to change my name to I fuck your sister, specifically to remind my best friend how I fucked his sister 20 years ago. And when we're in the same Discord, it'll always be like, hey, I fucked your sister came in. I didn't fuck his sister, by the way. I have no friends and I'm still a virgin, but, you know, it's just a pro tip right there. My gym teachers used to tell us to do lots of squats, but tall people should just never do that. Yeah, I don't think you're capable of actually strengthening the muscles inside of your knees, like your MCL or whatever. So, like, no matter how strong the rest of your body is, when you just fucking, like, tear your MCL, it's just gonna fucking tear. I think there's just a lot of ligaments that you're fucked with if you mess them up. Sports is not actually good for you. Exercise is good for you, but not sports. Sports ask you to do a lot of like weird ass shit with your body to throw a ball through a hoop or something. And then as a result, you just like tear your Achilles and you can't walk again or some shit. Just look at pitchers. Literally every pitcher, no matter how healthy they are, ends up getting like Tommy John surgery or something because they have to twist their fucking knee in a, not their knee, their elbow in the weirdest way to throw their stupid ass pitches. And that's not even talking about contact sports like football, which is way worse. Humans were not built to play football. Both types of football, American and European. Both involve smashing your head into objects, whether it's a soccer ball or another person's body, leading to lasting concussions and shit. CTE Pog, feels good man. That feeling when your brain is just like a spongy mess because you smash your skull into other humans. Football didn't fuck me up, surprisingly. You didn't hit your head into the ball enough. Not enough headings. You should have played harder. Are you a fucking quitter? I spend a lot of time doing this gray area, but I'm already regretting it. I think I might need to, well, instead of doing that, we're just going to, let's try again. If you're really talented at American football, you're born with CTE. The way most Americans behave, you could basically tell me that they all have CTE to begin with. Average Kekona is just like already fucking brain damaged. Let's be honest. My freedoms. I would know, I live in America. Have you seen like the videos where they're interviewing Americans on the street and they're like, can you pick out this country on the map? And they're like, where is America in this map of the world? And people are choosing like Russia and stuff. They're like, I think it's here. It's like, no, you're wrong. That's fucking the opposite side of the world. No, that's not America. That's Brazil. Public school moment, yeah. I mean, you can't blame the schools for that level of stupidity, though. Americans have like a weird kind of pride in their own stupidity. It's hard to explain it if you're from a different country. But Americans are like, I don't need no college education. I don't need no school. I got common sense. I ain't like you all. You're all libtards. It's like, holy shit, he's so proud of the fact that he's stupid. This is like an actual solid 40% of the country, by the way. You know, the people who vote for Trump, unfortunately. This is like a solid percentage of them. Every Japanese can place the islands of Japan on the map. I mean, it's way easier when you're an island country, you'd hope. But who knows? And this town would do things a little different, city boy. Try that in a small town. Glorified idiocracy, it really is. I don't know why Americans are so proud of being stupid, but they are. Fuck the tiny countries, put Monaco into the Mediterranean. I wish I lived in Monaco. Then I could gamble and drive my Lamborghini all day. As a European, I agree. Can we add Vatican and France to the deal? I always like when you look at like the highest ranked countries of like whatever topic, you have to skip all the tiny ass countries because they fuck with all the numbers. It's like, which country has the lowest, I don't know, crime rate? And it's like Luxembourg. It's like, yeah, it's Luxembourg because it's like one city of rich people or some shit, you know? We need to go full American imperialism. It's time to expand. Isn't, if you're talking from a European perspective, isn't that what the European Union is? You expanded to the point where all the other countries that you don't like now want to be in the European Union. So Ukraine is like, hey, thanks for all the weapons, but can we also join the EU? And EU is like, LMAO, no. What about NATO? They're like, LMAO, no. I bet EU is like regretting right now that Turkey is part of the whole thing, right? Americans already expanding outwards, LMAO. Americans are, I think we've reached our full expansion already. Our expand dong phase. I think we're done with that. I'm American. I wish America was part of the EU. God damn it. No, you don't. The EU, if you think American politics is ineffective, you should follow EU politics. They can't agree to do anything. We don't actually get to do the imperialism thing. I think we do the imperialism thing more than we actually think we do. Also, Americans don't pay for it all as much as you think we do. Americans, every American who's like, damn, NATO ain't paying us. American doing everything. It's like, actually, America literally gets money from a lot of the countries that it has military bases on, in a very literal sense. And a lot of the wars that America is like, we pay for that war with the lives of American soldiers, were wars that, like, every other country was like, please stop invading Iraq. This is doing nothing. And America was like, no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And then America's like, we're trying to keep peace. United Fruit Company enters the chat. Yeah, there's a lot of American imperialism going on at a corporate level in which actual individual Americans don't see the benefit, but the corporation gets the benefit. Like, Nestle has, like, a monopoly on food in, I don't know, South American countries, and as a result, like, all the children there are obese from eating sugary cereals and shit like that. There's a lot of stuff like that. It's not particularly helpful to Americans on an everyday life, but the corporations like it. CIA doing gay ops isn't really imperialism, though. I need some legal flag planting and conquering. Yeah, that age kind of ended even before America became imperialist superpower. That was more of a British thing. The Brits and the French basically got all the fun stage of imperialism. America just kind of gets the boring corporate stage going forward. It could be worse, but yeah. We have to find alien civilizations that we can colonize if we want to do that. The face one country became stupidly right-wing and now refuse to enter BRICS because my commies and my libtards from Twitter. In general, if you're even like slightly capitalistic and have even the slightest amount of, I don't know, democracy and stuff, you're probably better off being in some sort of trade agreement with the other Western quote-unquote countries, if you can get it. Because honestly, the other option is just the axis of evil shit with like Russia and Iran and stuff, so. Alright, that looks okay. I'm gonna say that looks good enough. Let's lighten the gray a little bit. Imagine having neither now. Yeah, unfortunately, democracy is pretty fragile. I'd be fine if America went full self-interest and moved everything back here. Let the rest of the world deal with their own shit. Yeah. I mean, that's what you might think as an individual American, but the massive multinational corporations need America to be an imperial superpower for them to sell shit into other markets, so they definitely don't agree with you. Especially the shipping lanes. The only reason we have the current global economy is because the American Navy basically dominates the world's shipping lanes, which allows for like capitalistic free trade. But a lot of corporations would be very unhappy if America was like, we're not going to be building new aircraft carriers and we're not going to be protecting shipping lanes, because they wouldn't be able to, you know, produce stuff in a factory in Bangladesh and then like sell it in America, right? So America does do bad things. Meanwhile, in Africa, Chinese dudes literally whipping people. It's like Churchill said that democracy is like the worst form of government except all the other types of government, pretty much. America is pretty awful, but it's also like the best option. It's like the best imperialist power we're going to get. The other imperialist powers are just going to be like fucking even worse, so they're going to be like China, so. That's what our export should be, protection of world shipping lanes. I mean, it is. The shipping lanes benefit Americans more than anything, probably. Why do you think your iPhone costs like $500 instead of like $10,000? American can do no wrong. That's what our nukes say. Anybody who complains about how bad America is, we're just going to nuke them. If you complain about America on Twitter, you can just leave. Don't like it, son? How about you leave? Hell yeah. Kekona clap. Alright guys, that was a fucking 4-hour stream. I made enough progress. I'm gonna end stream here and watch NBA and maybe go to McDonald's or something like a true American. God bless you. God bless America. Kekona clap. Love me sports. Love me fast food. Love me dwarfs. See you around, guys. Good night.